All right, a blessed Monday morning, everyone. Today is going to be very exciting because together we will be discussing learning and relearning many topics from one of our favorite subjects, mathematics. So if you are having difficulties in some of your challenging topics in your math subjects this semester, then this webinar series is for you. So as of now, we have over 1,707 registered participants. So shout out to our early birds, Kia Cesaldo, Patrick John Chavez. Good morning kay Sir Angelo Noel Manuel. And to our ever loyal viewer, Joseph Hermitania. Good morning po sa inyo. Good day kay Abby Gail Sistosa, Villabeles. So good morning, everyone. So I believe you're all excited to learn about mathematics, especially with our topic this morning. So marami tayong mga math warriors ngayong araw. At sana, dumami pa lalo ang ating mga mag-aaral na may hilig sa mathematics. So all right, it's already 9:01 in the morning. Welcome to MATH-dali lang ang math, a subject tutorial series for webinar series for algebra, trigonometry, geometry, and calculus. My name is Joshua Michael G. Jonas, University Research Associate and Tutorials Coordinator of the UPLB Learning Resource Center, and yours truly will be this session's moderator. So today, we are in our first session of this webinar series entitled Abracadabra kay Algebra. So baka magmamagic tayo ngayong araw na ito. So we will be learning a lot of tips and strategies from our resource speaker on how to easily understand, analyze, and solve the many equations and functions discussed in college algebra. So just a few friendly reminders. First, please keep your comments helpful and respectful to the resource speaker, moderator, and to your fellow participants. Second, ask only relevant questions during the session. Just kindly post your questions in the comment section and our speaker will address it within or after the webinar, or the session proper rather. And lastly, do not forget to answer the evaluation form after the session. #TeamLRC will greatly appreciate your comments and suggestions for this webinar to help us further improve our programs and services. For those who cannot make it to our live session this morning, don't you worry. The session will be available for replay. It will be recorded in our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Likewise, kindly like and follow us on our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube to keep you posted on our future events. For easier access of our resources for this webinar series, kindly use the hashtag LRC MATH-dali 2021. So before we proceed, let us first have a quick energizer. So sa mga suki na ng aming webinars dito sa Team LRC, you know the drill. So first, go to menti.com and use the key code that you see on your screen right now. It's 405206 and 56. So that's 40520656. So we'll have a short energizer for the meantime, okay? So let me share my screen and we shall see the live responses of our Mentimeter for this morning, okay? Ayan. So we have two responses. So the question is, how do you feel about studying mathematics? So we have responses here: interested, nerve-wracking, energized, scared, daunting, excited, interested, thrilling, scared. So at least we'll give our resource speaker this morning an idea. How do you feel about studying mathematics at this present time? So hard but enjoyable. True, that's very true. So enjoyable, challenged. So we can see that the big word in our word cloud is challenging. So let's see, ano pa yung iba nating mga thoughts regarding your feelings towards mathematics, di ba? Sana all my feelings sa math. Feel alive and challenged. So feeling ko parang challenging talaga yung very prominent natin na feeling towards mathematics. So hopefully, after this 4-day webinar series on mathematics, yung ating challenging na feeling towards mathematics, it will become enjoying or enjoyable feeling when you study mathematics. Okay? So thank you to our 47 respondents for this first question. To proceed with the second question, as of now, which one of these domains of math or mathematics is your favorite? Siyempre, may kanya-kanya tayong biases or mga favorite subjects with regards to math. Especially, di ba, kada year level ay may respective na domain na pinagpo-focusan ng ating teachers, ng ating curriculum ngayon, ng mga students. So let's see. We have your algebra, trigonometry, geometry, and calculus. So we can see here na marami talagang sumasagot ng algebra. So I believe na magiging favorite nyo siguro, perhaps, ang session ito. Pero for sure, mag-enjoy at magiging favorite nyo din ang the 3 other domains after this 4-day webinar series. Okay. So talagang algebra, no? So at the back, nakikita ng ating resource speaker yung excitement ng ating mga students for our session today. Okay. Sige nga, pabutin lang natin ng 70 siguro. And 65. 66. So talagang algebra, 40. 5 for trigonometry, 13 for geom, and 10 for calculus. 68 plus 2. Pabutin pa natin. Yun, okay. So talagang ang nanalo sa ating poll ngayon ay algebra. Okay. So thank you for those who have responded for our Mentimeter. So at least na-energize tayo sa ating topic for today, which is algebra nga naman. Okay. So alam ko excited na tayong lahat, and I believe that all of our students, our participants are all aboard on our learning adventure this morning. So to begin, allow me to introduce our speaker for this morning's event. Our speaker is an assistant professor from the Math Division of the Institute of Mathematical Sciences and Physics, College of Arts and Sciences here in UP Los Baños. He took up Bachelor of Science in Applied Mathematics, cum laude, here in UP Los Baños, and his Master of Science in Applied Mathematics in UP Diliman. His research interests include numerical analysis, partial differential equations in biology, optimal control, applied to biological models, operations research and modeling, and machine learning. So friends, let us give a virtual round of applause to our speaker, Assistant Professor Jcob C. Malaguit. Sir Jcob, good morning.
Hi, good morning everyone. No? Nakakakaba naman dito.
So nakita natin Sir Jcob dun
Yes.
sa poll, no?
Good
Talagang
morning.
favorite daw nila is algebra.
Yeah,
For the mains.
it's so
Okay.
exciting na they are very interested.
Yes
Lalo
po,
na
sir.
pagdating sa algebra, no?
Okay
Sige.
po. Okay po, sir.
So,
You now have the Zoom space po.
okay, so let me share my screen for this morning. Hi, good morning everyone. For those who are watching, I am Jcob Malagit. You can simply call me Sir Jcob or simply by my first name Jcob, ano? So if you can see my screen here, it's entitled, hindi ko ba alam, Josh, bakit Abracadabra? Hindi naman tayo mag-magic later, no? Pero I hope magkaroon tayo ng interest, no? Just as what we are doing dun sa mga previous exercises natin or dun sa mga previous na kung paano natin nalaman yung mathematics, ano? Okay. So, I'm already sharing my screen, right? Key.
Yes, sir. Okay na po.
Okay, so let's just set some expectations for today. What are you expecting from me today? Hindi naman natin i-cover yung entire college algebra. But this was from yung mga previous na survey na pinagdaanan natin, and ito yung mga topics na madalas ay nagkakaroon daw ng problem pagdating daw sa college algebra, no? And some of the techniques na ituturo natin or ay common naman, pero syempre meron tayong mga maliliit na mga hints or maliliit na mga payo, mga advice paano gagawin, paano yung mga cases kung meron tayong mga different situations na makikita natin all throughout. So, yon yung in-expect natin sa akin, so sa part ko. And on your part, what I'm expecting you to learn today ay syempre kahit kaunti lang, it's a big part of us. Hindi naman namin expect na lahat expert pagkatapos, but at least there's something in you that you have already acquired, tapos napagtibay natin yun, so yun yung mahalaga for today, this morning. And I guess like we can start, pwede na tayo magsimula this morning. So the outline of our presentation will be, we'll be having a quick run through of your equations involving yung mga linear and quadratic terms, But we will also be dealing with equations involving radical and rational expressions. We'll go through some systems of linear equations for today. So yung mga systems of linear equations natin na kung paano natin nalaman, pero today we'll be confining ourselves with, I think, up to 3 variables, 3 unknowns and 3 equations. And then meron din tayong relations and functions. So quick review lang ng mga alam natin so far about relations and functions. And also yung square root, yung mga alam natin na square root and the rational functions. And also yung pinaka nahihirapan and daw yung students dito sa subject matter natin, kasi ako yung una. So sa akin yung algebra, yung conditional functions. Kasi yung conditional functions later on, we'll be able to see na the conditional functions are just parang siya na yung sama-sama na lahat ng functions, dapat may knowledgeable ka sa almost everything, na almost halos lahat daw dapat alam mo na function, pero don't worry, tutulungan natin tayo mamaya, tutulungan ko kayo mamaya. Okay, so let's deal with the first item, yung linear and quadratic equations. So paano ba, sir, ano ba yung quick na ibig sabihin, what does a mathematical equation mean? So an equation is a mathematical statement asserting the two quantities are equal. So meron kang left-hand side and the right-hand side, para hindi tayo malito, ganun yung kadalasang ginagamit ko, the left-hand side of the equation and the right-hand side of the equation. Actually, parang force mo sila na mag-equal. And ang goal mo generally kapag meron kang equation, syempre hahanap ka ng values. You're finding for the values of your x's or minsan yung variable na hinahanap mo that will satisfy your equation kasi doon ka interested din, no? We don't really interest ourselves on the values that will not. Syempre gusto mo yung mga values na magsasatisfy sa equation kasi you're already forcing them to be equal. The quantities from the yung left at saka yung right, you're forcing both of them to be equal. Kaya ang goal mo talaga doon, generally, ay hanapin yung solution ng system na meron ka. Okay? And say for example, kunwari, meron akong b minus 4 equals 1, and this is a basic for us, for some of you, no? Ang real number 5 daw, there's a real number 5. It satisfies the equation given by b minus 4 equals 1 because we know that 5 minus 4 is definitely equal to 1. So yun yung uri ng solution, ano? This is a simple example, but ang later on makikita pa natin meron pang iba't ibang uri, no? Pero ito yung isa sa mga ibig sabihin, no? This is ano yung ibig sabihin natin pag sinabi nating solution, no? It satisfies the equation that we are trying to look for, yung hinahanapan natin siya ng solution, ano? So the first is what we call the linear equation. So when we say there's a linear equation, in one variable muna tayo, no? So if a certain equation is linear with respect to one variable, say for example x, which is a very common variable pagdating sa algebra, this is an equation that can be written in the form of ax plus b equals 0. Ano? So some of you may be familiar with the form ax plus b. Kasi later on, yung ax plus b, this is a function, no? Linear function ang tawag natin dito sa left-hand side of the equation. Kaya lang, we are forcing it to be equal to 0. So, anong nangyayari? Nagiging linear equation siya. Kaya ang goal natin talaga kapag yung ax plus b equals 0, pag nakakita tayo ng form na ganito, we are forcing the linear equation to be equal to 0 and find for the value of the x that satisfies the equation, ano? So, ang tawag natin sa kanya ay linear equation. So, such that, syempre, ayaw natin na yung syempre, ayaw natin yung a ay 0 kasi the moment na mag-a ay 0, definitely yung b ma-force mo to be equal to 0. Kasi syempre, mawawala yung variable kapag ang a ay 0 mo. So, we don't want that. Gusto natin yung a not equal to 0 kasi yun yung mas interesting yung case natin. So, for example, I have here 4x over 5. This is a classic example. 4x over 5 plus 2x over 3 minus x equals 1/2. So kadalasan sa atin, kapag nakakita ng fraction ay takot na. Ano, pag nakakita kayo ng fraction, parang nanginginig na, no? Nakakita kayo ng dinosaur sa mga panaginip, parang binabangungot, ano. But don't worry kasi whenever we're trying to look for, lalo na later on, pag ang mga itsura ay may mga fractions, syempre, ang unang goal natin hanapin yung common term na tinatawag natin na LCD, ano, which is the least common denominator. So, hahanapin mo yung least common denominator on both yung 5, 3, at saka yung 2. So, anyone, kung meron man sa inyo, no, can you comment anong LCD nito? Ano, baka kaya nyo mag-comment, ano, anong LCD ng equation ang hinahanap natin ngayon? So, I have here 4x over 5 plus 2x over 3 minus x is equal to 1/2. So, kung ang denominators na present doon sa equation ay 5, 3, at saka 2, ano yung LCD na hinahanap natin, which is the least common denominator? So, pwede na ang least common denominator nito ay 15 daw. May nagsasagot ng 15, may nagsasagot ng 30. Kasi kung 15 lang yon, yung left-hand side lang yon, yung kino-consider natin. But since we have 2 here, ang LCD talaga niya ay 30. Kaya ang goal natin para i-simplify yung equation na ito ay bakit natin kinukuha yung LCD? We have to multiply both sides of the equation by the LCD. So yung LCD natin in this case ay 30. So if you multiply both sides by 30, ang mangyayari sa kanya, magkakaroon ako ng dito sa left-hand side. So if you multiply 4x over 5 by 30, magkakaroon ako ng 30 divided by 5, which is 6 times 4. Magkakaroon ako ng first term dito na 24. Dito naman, if we multiply 30, so 30 divided by 3, so magkakaroon ako ng 10 times 2, magkakaroon ako ng 20x. Dito naman, plainly, this will now be equal to minus 30x. Sa right-hand side of the equation, magkakaroon naman ako ng 30 times 1/2, which is just 15. Okay? Easy peasy pa na sa mga estudyante na medyo saya pa sila dahil ay, alam ko pa to, sir, nakuha ko pa ito, no? So, kapag dinistribute natin yung 30 dun sa loob ng mga parentheses natin, magkakaroon ako ng ganito. So, 24x plus 20x minus 30x is equal to 15. And our goal is to find for the value of your x. So, if that's the case, magkakaroon ako ng 14x. So, 24 plus 20, which is 44x, minus 30x, that yields 14x. Sa right-hand side naman, wala lang ginawa. So, in-inherit mo lang yung 15. Okay? And we know that the value of your x here will now be equal to 15 over 14. Hindi 14 over 15, ha? Some of my students before, they were very eager to answer this problem dahil sa pagmamadali nila. Ang nangyayari, yung numerator, yung coefficient. Hindi, ano? So, we divide both sides by the coefficient of your variable present. So, you have to be very careful. Kailangan hinay-hinay lang, no? Huwag kayong masyadong masyado kayong alam nyo, excite kasi kita nyo na yung liwanag, no? You have seen the light in the end, tapos biglang, ay, mali pala, no? Because of carelessness. So, you have to be very careful with that. Okay? Anyway, this is just a linear equation. So, marami pa kayong pagdadaanan later on. Next, meron tayong tinatawag na literal from the word litera, letters. So, dito, imbes na makakita ka ng mga numbers, meron ka lang purely letters, no, or purely variables yung nandoon. Kaso lang, ang ginagawa natin, what we're trying to do with literal equation, these are all the letters. Meron kang letters dun sa equation. Hineheld natin siya as constant, no, the rest. Except for that variable that you're trying to solve. So, yung isang variable na yun, you treat that as syempre yung only variable, and the rest of the variables or letters present, you treat them as your constant, na parang ganun yung dating. Kaso syempre nakatago sa mga letters yung itsura niya. So if that's the case, so for example, you have to solve for the value of your s. If I have here rs minus 80 is equal to bt minus s, this is purely letters. Wala kayong numbers na makikita dyan, ano? Kasi literal equation, literal letters, yun nandoon, ano? Nakikita mo, puro variables. Kaso lang, whenever we're trying to solve for your s, yun lang i-treat mo as your constant. So for me, to solve for the value of your s, ang gagawin ko, ipunin ko yung lahat ng may mga terms with s on the right, on the left-hand side of the equation, and then yung mga wala dun sa kanan. So if that's the case, I can do rs plus s. So yung negative s, pag nilagay ko sa kabila, magiging s plus s definitely. And then bt plus 80. So yung negative natin, syempre, pag nilipat natin sa kabila, magiging positive na siya, no? So magkakaroon ako ng rs plus s is equal to bt plus a of t. And then since we're trying to solve for the value of your s here, gagawin ninyo ay you have to factor out the value of your s. Kailangan i-factor out niyo yung variable. So kapag finactor out ko sa left-hand side of the equation, you'll be having s times r plus 1 is equal to bt plus 80. No, and then divide both sides by your s ba or yung r plus 1? You're trying to solve for s, so this serves as your coefficient, yung r plus 1. So if you're trying to solve for your s here, divide both sides by r plus 1, no? So ang mangyayari, magkakaroon ako ng s equals bt plus 80 over r plus 1. Okay. So do you have questions so far? I can read your comments here. So yeah, ayan, may mga nagko-comment na. So yeah, okay. Thank you for your participation, ano? Grabing interactive pala dito pag Facebook ka nagtuturo, ano? Okay. So if that's the case, meron din tayo, syempre, yung pinaka-paborito ng lahat. Ito na yung medyo, kanina sir, ay chicken na chicken. Ito medyo, lagyan natin ng spice yung buhay natin, ano? Okay. Ang advice ko sa mga students ko, kadalasan kasi, no, pag nakakita sila ng mga mathematical terms, no, there comes anxiety. But ang lagi kong ano sa kanila, payo sa kanila ay kung natatakot ka talaga, 'di ba? Isang tabi mo muna 'yon, no? Just try to understand first what's happening inside the equation, ano. Intindihin niyo muna paano siya nangyayari, no, rather than matakot ka agad kasi the moment na natakot ka agad doon sa equation, nagkaroon ka agad ng fear na hindi mo siya kaya, ay syempre malaki yung chance na hindi mo siya magawa, ano. Kaya ang payo ko sa inyo, just try to understand, no. Isang tabi niyo muna yung takot. Syempre natural na matakot ka kung hindi mo talaga alam, ano. But isang tabi niyo muna 'yun, and then try to understand, ano, try to find some resources or anything that interests you of that topic, no. So dito tayo sa quadratic equation. So yung quadratic equation, from the word quadratic, parang gusto natin ay square, no. In square natin, no. Actually yung powers na yan ay 2. So yung highest degree of the polynomial present ay 2. Okay. So we say x. So kunwari quadratic in one variable, so ibig sabihin natin ay x is an equation that can be written in the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, provided that your a, b, and c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. Take note that the moment that a is 0, ano mangyayari sa equation natin? So if a is equal to 0, hindi siya magiging quadratic kasi mawawala itong term ng ax squared. You'll be left with bx plus c, which is just a linear equation. Okay? And most of you have experienced this during your junior high school, ano, yung quadratic equations, yung usual, yung ax squared plus bx plus c. Magkakaroon ako ng common later on, ay familiar sir, mga ganyan, ano. So, yeah, merong hindi na daw quadratic, tama. Pag a is 0, hindi na siya quadratic definitely. Mawawala to. Siyempre, hindi yung interest natin. Gusto natin siya ay hindi equal sa 0. So how do we solve quadratic equations? Siyempre, the most classic. Ano yung most classic na alam natin in solving quadratic equations? Anyone from our Facebook group or Facebook Live, no, FB Live? Ano yung pinaka-common na alam natin in solving quadratic equations? And I'm waiting for your answers sa live. Okay, may nagsagot ng quadratic formula. Tama. Mamaya yun yung last natin, ano. May nagsagot na factoring, no. Ito yung isa sa mga tinuturo sa atin. One of the most common is by factoring. First yun, no, una muna, no, factoring. So if I have here an example, x squared minus x minus 6 is equal to 0, you're trying to break this general equation into factors, no. Gusto natin siya ay gawing factors siya para makuha natin yung product nila, tapos equating sa 0. Kasi take note that, kunwari, meron akong x squared minus x minus 6. Ano yung factors ng x squared minus x minus 6? Ayan. So I'm also waiting for their answers. Meron nagsasagot. Mamaya tayo dyan. May mga nasagot na. Kompleto na pala nila eh. Hi, Mar Vichosa, pa-mention daw. Ayan. Pa-mention, ginawang ano, streaming. Okay, so meron akong x squared minus x minus 6. So the factors of this will be, so minus kasi siya, no? So kung minus, ibig sabihin, meron kang plus minus na factors, no? And usually, kung minus ito, tapos wala naman monic siya, ibig sabihin yung kanyang factor dito ay 1 lang naman, ay yung kanyang coefficient ng x squared ko ay 1. I'm trying to look for yung difference ay equal sa 1, yung coefficient na to, no? So if you try to look for that, yung mas malaki ilalagay mo sa negative, tas yung mas mababa ilalagay mo sa positive. Ganun yung kadalasan, no? So if you have here 6, so fa-factor mo yung 6, so 3 at saka 2 yun, pwede rin 6 at 1. Pero more of trial and error, ano? Pero because of your experience, makikita nyo na ang factors niya ay x minus 3 at saka x plus 2 equals 0. And we have known from the past that if I have a product na 0, kasi kaya natin ginagawa na ganito, kasi hinahanap natin yung case kung saan sila ay, kasi kung 0 yung product nila, either one of the factors ay 0. So, ang gagawin natin, i-force natin yung both factors to be 0 kasi or naman siya, di ba? So, either pwede siyang parehas na 0, pwedeng isa lang, and so on. So, if that's a case, we're left with no choice but to equate x minus 3 to be equal to 0 and then yung x plus 2 sa 0 din. And makikita natin yung x to be equal to 3 and x is equal to negative 2. Some of you are, syempre depende sa tanong, yung iba, find the solution or solutions. So kapag sinabi mong solutions, pwede na yan, no? Some of the problems says, solve for your, or look for the solution set. Try to look for the solution set. So, depende sa convention ninyo sa klase o kung paano tinuturo sa inyo o kung paano ina-ask sa inyo. So, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng, kapag ang ina-ask sa inyo ay solution set, set yung sagot. So, ilalagay niyo yung 3 at saka negative 2 sa isang set. So, yung set ay denoted by, syempre, yung curly natin, yung braces natin, usual braces natin. Ikukulong natin yung 3 at saka yung negative doon. So, yun yung solution set. But, if you're being asked of the solution lang, pwede na ito. Just box the final answer and then, yun, So, depende sa convention ninyo kung paano nyo sasagutan yung final answer ninyo. Okay? So, if that's the case, madali yan, o factoring, Sure. Sure, sir. Napaka-easy niyan para sa akin, next is yung tinatawag natin kanina, yung completing the square, Isa sa mga pinaka panggagalingan kasi ito ng tinatawag natin na quadratic formula, The very essence of completing the square, galing siya doon sa yung quadratic formula ay galing doon sa idea ng completing the square. So, ang nangyayari, if for example, I have 4x squared minus 8x minus 12, kapag completing the square yung ginagamit, ititira mo yung lahat ng variables dun sa left-hand side, tapos yung lahat ng may constant sa kanan. So, ganun yung kadalasan, So, if that's the case, magkakaroon ako ng, ito ay, ang ginawa niya, bakit x squared minus 2x is equal to 3? Nag-skip siya na isang line, meron ako ditong 4x squared minus 8x, And then sa kabila, magkakaroon ako ng 12 kapag ilipat ko sa kabilang side ng equation, yung negative 12, And then, ang mangyayari, if you divide both sides by 4, para maging 1 na lang yung coefficient ng x squared, since divisible naman yung mga factors by 4, and then mangyayari na lang x squared minus 2x na lang. Sa kanan, magkakaroon ako ng 3. Kaya nagiging x squared minus 2x is equal to 3. So again, the first step in doing completing the square ay iwanan nyo yung lahat ng variables sa kanan, sa kaliwa, And then sa kanan, yung mga may mga constants, ilagay nyo dun sa kanan. Kasi the very essence of completing the square is, gusto mong hanapin yung perfect square trinomial. Hahanap ka ngayon ng perfect square trinomial. So, para may transform mo siya sa factors. Kasi kapag perfect square siya, pag na-complete mo yung square, mamaya makakakita natin yung values ng x. Napaka-diretso niyan, So, if I have here x squared minus 2x is equal to 3 here, ang gagawin ko, yung purpose ng yung step na gagawin ko next ay kukunin ko yung coefficient ng x. And then i-divide ko siya sa by 2 and then i-square ko siya. So if you divide this negative 2 by 2, you'll have negative 1 and then you square that, you'll be having plus 1. So sa left-hand side, you'll be having plus 1 and also the right-hand side, by the property of equality, kung nagdadagdag ako sa kaliwa, dapat nagdadagdag din sa kanan, definitely. Yun yung nakakalimutan ng mga students. Lagi niyo tatandaan kasi sa completing the square, kapag ang case ko ay may equality, syempre equality yun, di ba? Kung nagdagdag ako sa left-hand side of the equation, dapat nagdadagdag din ako sa kanan. At kung ano yung dinagdag ko sa kaliwa, by the property of equality, kailangan yun din sa kanan yung idadagdag niya. Kasi you're changing both of the equation. Kasi equal sila eh. Di ba? You're forcing them to be equal. And then if you're changing the left-hand side, definitely you're also changing the same quantity by the same quantity that you're adding it. So magkakaroon ako ng x squared minus 2x plus 1 is equal to 4. And then we know, some of you alam, yung iba ay hindi. So this is a perfect square trinomial. At pag ginawa ko tong, kinuha ko yung factors niya, actually dalawa lang naman yung factor niya, actually multiplicity. So kaya mangyayari, kaya siya perfect square, I'm left with x minus 1 is equal to 2 equals 4. Okay? And then get the square root of both sides. Yun yung essence. Yung next is get the square root of both sides. Magkakaroon ako ng x minus 1 is equal to 2 and x minus 1 is equal to negative 2. Bakit sir 2 at saka negative 2? Di ba? Whenever you're trying to look for a square of a positive, di ba? Kapag kinuha mo yung square root niyan, talagang kinukuha mo yung positive at saka negative unless otherwise stated. Nakukunin mo yung at least physical quantity siya, no? Dapat positive lang. Pero in our case, when we are trying to look for these values, di kunin mo yung positive at saka negative, no? Na side. Kasi if you square 2, 4 din. If you square negative 2, 4 pa rin siya. Na yun din yung isa sa mga nami-miss ng mga students. Nawawala yung negative. We're trying to look for all of the values of x inside the real numbers. So, lahat ng real numbers that will satisfy your equation. Kaya ang mangyayari dito sa isang equation, you'll be left with x is equal to 3. And then sa kanan, you'll be left with x is equal to negative 1. Again, if you're left with, if you're being asked of the solution set, ikulong nyo yan sa isang set. Kung if you're being asked of a solution lang, pwede na yan. Ano? Or depende sa convention ninyo sa klase. Paano sinasabi ng inyong lecturer, ng inyong professor, ng inyong teacher, yun dapat final answer. Ano? It's a way for you to develop your ano ba tawag dito? Yung systematic way of thinking. Ano, para alam niyo kung tapos na o hindi pa yung solution niyo. Okay? And lastly, ang pinakamadali at ang pinakapaborito ng lahat, ano, ay yung quadratic formula. Minsan nire-recite pa ito, no, para daw mawala yung sir, refreshed pa ako sa math ko, ano. So, meron akong quadratic formula. So, if I have your quadratic formula, so if we consider the general form of a quadratic equation given by ax squared plus bx plus c, which is the general form of your quadratic equation, and syempre hindi natin gusto na zero, kanina ko pa sinasabi yan. Galing doon, so hindi ko na i-derive, no, galing dito sa computing the square, pero kaya nyo yung i-derive galing dito sa ax squared plus bx plus c. Anyway, yung namang derivations, yung tinuro sa inyo, yung iba, available naman sa internet. So, you can search for it, you can learn from it. Pero again, the derivation of your quadratic formula is by completing the square. Okay? So, ang mangyayari, pag daw nagkaroon ako ng general case, then ang x ko ay direct siya. I can express the values of your x with respect to, in terms of your a, b, and c, which are the coefficients of your variables, at saka yung constant na present. So, yung x ko can be equal to negative b plus or minus square root ng b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And from this case of this general quadratic formula, syempre yung quadratic formula, because of this, makikita natin yung characterization nung anong itsura ng mga solutions ng ating quadratic equation, ano yung nature ng kanyang ano yung nature ng solution niya, no? Sa pamamagitan ng b squared minus 4ac, kasi siya lang naman yung mas restrictive sa kanilang lahat eh. Kasi meron ako ditong square root. So para magstay yan sa real numbers, yung x ko, kailangan yung value dito sa loob ay siya yung tatawagin kong discriminant. Para manatili sa real number, gusto ko na yung d squared ay yung d, which is represented by b squared minus 4ac, tawag natin dyan discriminant. So para sa mas nakakarami, ang discriminant po ay galing doon sa loob ng square root, no? Kaya siya tinawag natin na discriminant kasi that gives you yung character o nature ng solution mo based doon, doon mo makikita. So if d is greater than 0, then sure ka na there are two real solutions. Kapag ang 0 naman, magkakaroon ka ng one real solution. Kakadagdag lang ng multiplicity. Paano kapag if d is less than 0? Definitely, wala sa real numbers yung solution ng system mo, or there are no real solution to your system. Okay? And, ayun. So, that ends yung medyo introduction, yung linear, literal, at saka yung quadratic. Now, let's go with equations that medyo peculiar sa atin, medyo kakaiba para sa atin. So, let's now go with equations involving radicals. Okay? Do you have any questions so far? So, meron ba kayong mga tanong? I'm waiting dito. May mga pa-shoutout na naman po tayo, no? There are students from Agusan, all the way from Agusan. May mga all the way from Zamboanga. Meron din galing sa, ano pa ba? Marami, no? All over the world, but all over the Philippines yung ating kliyente. Okay, so I'm asking for questions. So kung may tanong kayo, pwede kong sagutin. Merong galing sa Upper Bikutan. Yung iba, ayan. So may sumasagot na. Wala naman daw so far. Okay. Sige. Alright. Meron din galing sa PLM. Oh, sa Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila. TTUP, Quezon. Alright. So let's now go with equations involving radicals. So, syempre, kapag sinabi nating equations involving radicals, these are equations for which nagkakaroon ka ng mga square root. No? Ang gawin natin dito sa ating session, ikulong muna natin yung sarili natin doon sa square root. Hindi muna natin lalagyan ng cube root, ng higher index. No? Hindi. Ang gawin lang natin, ikulong muna natin yung sarili natin doon sa idea na square root siya, ng index niya ito, ng radical natin. Okay? So, how do we find the solution of this equation? So, if we have this, ang unang payo natin kapag meron akong equations involving radicals ay get rid of the radicals. No? Hindi mo buburahin. Baka, sir, buburahin ko. Hindi, no? How do we get rid of the radicals? Ang gawin mo, iwanan mo sa isang side, no? Wag mong burahin kasi syempre naghahanap ka ng values of your x, no? Baka mawalan ka ng sagot kapag gano'n, no? So, ang gawin mo ay iwanan mo yung mga radicals sa left-hand side of the equation and dun sa mga walang radicals dun sa kanan. Usually, gano'n naman, ano? So, we get rid of the radicals efficiently by putting the radical expressions to one side of the equation and all the other terms to the other side of the equation. So, mamaya gawin natin. Gusto niyo sabay natin? Sige, sabay natin. So, meron akong, ang sabi dito, meron daw square root ng x plus 3 plus 1. So, meron akong square root ng x plus 3 plus 1. And then, this is equal to 3x. So, 3x. So, if that's the case, sabi kanina, first step, kailangan daw iwanan yung lahat ng past. Hindi, joke lang. Iwanan daw yung radical sa kaliwa, tapos yung mga wala doon sa kanan. So, mangyayari, magkakaroon ako ng square root ng x plus 3 plus 1. So, magiging square root ng x plus 3 lang dito, magkakaroon ako sa kabila ng 3x minus 1. Okay? And then, if that's the case, next, so okay na? Pero hindi pa siya nawawala, wag niyong buburahin, ha? You don't get buburahin agad, no? Next is square both sides. So, if you're left with the square dun sa kabila at sa kanan, ang gagawin daw, square both sides. Siyempre, para mawala yan, edi square natin both sides. So, sa left-hand side, magkakaroon ako ng x plus 3. And then, sa left-hand side, sa left-hand side, magkakaroon ako ng x plus 3. Sa right-hand side, magkakaroon ako ng 3x minus 1 square, no? So, by squaring both of these, so square the first term. Square ng first term, you have 3x. So, square the first term. Kakaroon ako ng 9x squared. Multiply 2 by the product of your negative 1 and 3x. So, magkakaroon ako ng minus 6x. And then, after which, magkakaroon din ako ng, so minus 6x. So, square the last term. So, magkakaroon ako ng plus 1. Again, how do we square? Square the first term. And then, multiply 2 by the product of 3x and negative 1. And then, square the last term, which is negative 1. 1 lang naman yun. And then, magkakaroon ngayon ako ng x plus 3 is equal to 9x squared minus 6x plus 1. Tingnan natin. Square both sides, okay na. Perform some algebraic operations to reduce the equation. So, kailangan, if you're left with x plus 3 equals 9x squared minus 6x plus 1, ang goal mo ay mawala yung, syempre, yung mga common terms. Pag-isahin mo sila, yung mga may similar terms. So, magkakaroon ako ng 9x squared dito sa kanan. Tapos dito, magkakaroon ako ng 7x. Tapos magkakaroon ako ng, tama ba ako? So, minus 6x. So, 6x minus x. So, 7x. And then, itong 3, magkakaroon ako ng 1 minus 3. Tama. So, magkakaroon ako ng minus 2. Equals, dito sa left-hand side, so iniwan natin dito. So, magkakaroon ako ng 0. Baliktarin ko lang yan by the property of the equation. So, pwede ko naman baliktarin yan. So, magkakaroon ako ng 9x squared minus 7x minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay? So, employ. So, kung makapapansin ninyo dun sa radical natin, naging problem na siya na quadratic. No? Naging quadratic na lang siya. So, after that, you have to solve the resulting equation. So, yung resulting equation natin na isang quadratic, isa sa mga pinakamadali ay, kung nahihirapan kayo ng factoring, edi diretsuhin nyo siya na x, no? Ang gawin ko na lang ay, i-factor ko siya, no? Anong factors nito? Equals 0. Ano ang factors niya? So, yung iba nakakuha na, no? Meron daw x is equal to negative 2 over 9. Yeah. Okay, tama yon. May nakakuha ng x is equal to, yun yung kaso may isa pa. So, magkakaroon ako dito ng factors na, so kapag finactor ko yan, magkakaroon ako ng 9x, tapos dito ay x. And then, syempre, mas malaki yung isa, tapos negative siya. So, ang mangyayari, lagay ko to sa minus 1, and then dito ay plus 2. Tama ba ako? 9x squared, 9, ito, so negative 9x, tapos plus 2x, so magiging 7x, tama. Tapos 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Okay. So if that's the case, magkakaroon ako ng x equals 9x plus 2 equals 0, or yung case natin ng x is equal to 1. So if you have x here, magkakaroon ka ng negative 2 over 9, yung nakuha natin kanina. And then, yung isa pa ay, magkakaroon ako ng x is equal to, tama, x is equal to 1. So if that's the case, ang daya ni sir, no, shortcut na natin. Tingnan, baguhin natin. ulit. So magkakaroon ako dito ng minus, ang daya ni sir, no? Dire-diretso. So x now will be equal to 1. Okay. So is this your final answer? Ito yung kadalasan din na nahihirapan din yung mga students kasi akala natin pag nakita natin yung x ay okay na sir kasi solve for every value of x. But since we have here radicals, mapapansin niyo meron tayong radicals dito, ang mahirap kasi sa kanya ay, anong mahirap sa kanya? Anong mahirap sa kanya, sir? Meron siyang, there's a possibility na magkaroon ka ng extraneous solution. Kasi because of the existence of your square root, kasi ina-admit lang naman yan ay positive values doon sa loob ng radicand. So you're forcing x plus 3 to be greater than 0. So ang case mo, dapat, kailangan positive yung nandun sa loob ng square root, ng radical mo. Depende sa index, pero since it's square root, dapat positive siya. And then, dapat din nagsasatisfy siya ng equation, definitely. So kaya kailangan i-check nyo rin. Kasi hindi porket nakahanap kayo ng solution, siya na yung final answer mo. Kasi baka possibly nuisance candidate pala yun. Isa pala siyang nuisance candidate sa yung solution. So check natin. Kapag ginamit natin yung x equals negative 2, tapos in-add natin siya dun sa x plus 3, definitely positive yun. So, i-check natin sa right-hand side of the equation. So, on the right-hand side of the equation, meron kang square root ng, wait lang, specify natin yung case. So, sabi daw ay, if x is equal to, so if x is equal to negative 2 over 9. So, you have here right-hand side. So, magkakaroon ako ng square root ng x plus 3. Yung x mo pala ay negative 2 over 9. So, negative 2 over 9 plus 3 plus 1. Now, this is equal to square root daw ng 9 times 3 is 27 minus. So, magkakaroon ako ng square root ng 25. Square root ng 25 over square root ko na yung 3, ha? Ay, labas ko na yung 9. So, magkakaroon ako ng 3. And then you add 1 here, magkakaroon ako ng 3 plus. So magkakaroon pala ako ng, ito magiging 5, no? This will now be equal to 5. So you'll be left with 5 over 3 plus 1. This is equal to positive 8 over 3. Sa left-hand side of the equation mo, so sa left-hand side, huwag kayong gumamit ng check-check, ha? Huwag kayong gumamit ng check. I-substitute ko sa kaliwa, i-substitute ko sa kanan. Hindi, no? Kasi pag ganun yung... Although nagigets ko yung idea, ang problem lang kasi sa kanya, logically, parang anong nangyayari? Fina-force mo na equal. Hindi nga totoong equal, diba? So, ang gawin mo, kunin mo yung right-hand side, evaluate mo, tapos compare mo siya sa left-hand side. Rather than ang gawin nyo ay yung may question mark, yung equality. Di ba ganun yung ginagawa ng iba? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Hindi. Kasi definitely hindi sila equal. Wag ganun. Ang gawin nyo, kunin yung right-hand side, check nyo siya. Kunin yung left-hand side, i-check nyo siya. Tapos tingnan nyo kung equal. Tapos doon nyo palang malalaman, di ba? So sa left-hand side of the equation, syempre, magkakaroon ka lang naman ng 3 times negative 2 over 9. You're left with negative 2 over 3. And we know that this is not equal to 8 over 3. So definitely, yung x is equal to negative 2 over 9 ay isang extraneous root. Okay? Isa siyang extraneous root. So if that's the case, ano bang hinahanap? Solution set ba? Solutions lang naman. Pwede rin malagay natin sa solution set. So i-check nyo rin yung 1. So kung if x is equal to 1, i-check nyo rin. So magkakaroon ako for example ng square root sa right hand side. Kakaroon ka ngayon ng square root ng 1 plus 3 plus 1. This is equal to 2 plus 1. This is equal to 3. Pag sa left hand side naman, kakaroon ka ng square root ng 3 times x lang pala, no? So 3 times 1 lang. This is definitely 3. So alam mo na they are equal, and then so mangyayari, magkakaroon ka ng solution set mo so kunwari solution set denoted by SS. Kunwari solution set yung gusto nyo, D1. Kung hindi naman solution set, kung payag na si teacher dito, si prof mo dito, di box mo lang yung final answer mo. Okay? So either way, that gives you your x. That the only value that will satisfy the equation is whenever your x is equal to 1. Okay? So that's how we do yung radicals natin. Generally, ganun. Ang nangyayari, kaso lang, ang case kasi minsan, paano kapag may dalawa? So kunwari, for example, dito, merong mga may dalawa. May tatlo, merong nasa inscribed. So, ang nangyayari, even after you get rid of the initial radicals, merong mga anak ng isa pa. So, ulitin nyo ulit yung process. Iwanan nyo yung square root, isimplify nyo, iwanan nyo yung square root sa kaliwa, and so on. Hanggang sa maka-arrive kayo dun sa walang radicals. And then, after which, just go with yung usual and then check for extraneous. Ang pinakamahalaga kasi dito yung, syempre, dapat alam niyo yung process. And also, yung isa sa pinakamahalaga talaga, ay dapat chine-check nyo yung solutions. Kasi hindi lahat na nakuha yung values doon ay talagang magsasatisfy sa equation just as what we have shown today. Ano? Okay? Meron daw, bakit daw hugot si sir? Akala daw, yeah. So, di ba? May tanong kasi doon sa natin, baka akala nila ay dami dito parang matatalino. Parang nahahawahan daw siya. Oh, definitely, no? May brain waves na nangyayari. Okay. So, pwede kayo mag-solve on your own. Just try to copy this. So, balikan nyo lang yung live natin. Try to solve for the values. Ay, sorry. Meron itong mali. This should be 5z. Dapat same yung, syempre pag same, dapat same, this should be either x or z. So, palitan nyo na lang siguro ito ng x. Ito itong number 4. Okay? Nalito lang ako. This should be x. All right. Let's now go with equations involving rational expressions. So, dun sa una, radicals yung nandun sa system natin, Meron akong radicals. Tapos, meron akong mga, syempre, pag radicals, we were confined with ourselves dun sa square root, Dun sa 2. Pero pwede naman, kapag kunwari, ang index niya ay 3 or 4 or higher, tatapatan nyo lang kung ano yung index nun, yun yung exponent na ilalagay mo dito instead of just squaring. para mawala yung radical. Yeah. Yung iba, well, depende sa case, ano, minsan, depende sa case to case. Pero pag kinonfine natin yung sarili natin sa mas simple, squaring both sides yung susunod dapat na step. Questions? Meron dito mga nagjo-joke. Dun daw magtanong. Ayan, dito daw magtanong sa akin, wag daw sa klase. Okay, so yeah. All right. Okay. So, punta tayo sa rational expressions. So, pag sinabi nating equations involving rational expressions, kagaya ito nung kanina. In this case lang, dito sa case natin, ang itsura lang niya, syempre yung mga variables mo nasa denominator. Wala siya sa numerator. Unlike dun sa first na pinakita natin dun sa linear equation. Kasi linear equation lang yun. Linear equation lang yun. Pero pag ganito yung case, nasa denominator yung variables mo, yung mga unknowns mo ay nasa denominator, then ang gagawin mo ay, syempre kapag nakakita ganito, ano yung first step na ginagawa natin? If you have seen rational expressions, ang gagawin natin ay, kagano kanina, hanapin niyo yung least common denominator nila. Okay? What is the least common denominator of x minus 2, x plus 1 in this trinomial x squared minus x minus 2? So tama, you find the LCD, yeah? And the LCD is, ano daw yung LCD nito? X minus 2, x plus 1. Generally, kung ang x squared minus x minus 2 ay hindi factors itong dalawa, i-multiply mo sila, yun yung LCD. Outright agad, yun. Pero since we know that x squared minus x minus 2, ang factors nito kasi is x minus 2 and x plus 1, gaya ito nung kanina na na-factor out natin. Ano? So, malalaman natin ang least common denominator nito ay either yung, syempre, kung gusto nyo yung factor ng x minus 2 ay factored form, or yung naka-expand, yung x squared minus x. Either way, equal naman sila. So, find the LCD. So, ang case ay determine yung LCD. Ang case natin dito, ang LCD ay x minus 2 and x plus 1. Or kung gusto nyo ng naka-expand na, di x squared minus x plus minus 2 yung i-multiply nyo. Either way, parehas lang dapat yun. Okay? And then, so, sundan natin yung, so let's follow this thing here. So, sundan natin. Ang sabi dito, meron ako rational expression here, 1 over x minus 2. And then, ang pangit na. Ang pangit naman ni sir magsulat ng ano. Wait lang ulit. 1 over x minus 2. And then, minus 2 over x plus 1. This is equal daw to 7 over x squared minus x minus 2. Okay? And ang LCD natin kanina, sabi ninyo kanina, either you multiply x minus 2, x plus 1, or kung gusto nyo ay yung x squared. Siyempre, equal lang naman yan. Minus x minus 2. And then, sabi doon, you multiply both sides by both sides of the equation by the LCD. So, if you multiply both sides of the equation, so magkakaroon ako dito ng, ang gamitin ko yung factored form para mas makita nyo. So, x minus 2, x plus 1. And then, ano pa? Tama ba ako? Yeah. Dito magkakaroon ako ng 1 over x minus, syempre wala pa naman akong ginagawa. Minus 2 over x plus 1, kopyahin ko lang. Tapos sa right hand side, magkakaroon ako ng x minus 2, x plus 1, times of course 7 over x squared minus x minus 2. Okay? And then if that's the case, kaya ko ginagawa, mapapansin nyo kung bakit ko ginagawang factored form. Para makita nyo agad na yung denominator, pwede kong i-cancel. So, kunwari, makikita ko dito na x minus 2, minultiply ko doon, makakancel ko yung denominator. So, magkakaroon ako ng x plus 1. Dito sa unang distribution ko. Tapos in the next round of your distribution, sorry, papatuloy mo lang yung distribution mo, kakaroon ka naman ng minus 2 times x minus 2. And then sa kabila, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng, kasi makakancel out mo lahat, magkakaroon ka lang ng 7 sa right-hand side of your equation. Okay? And then just follow yung common. So magkakaroon ako ng x plus 1 minus 2x. Ito rin yung isa sa mga common na nagkakaproblema. Dahil sa bilis mag-solve, nalilimutan yung negative dito. Minsan nalilimutan mag-distribute. So you have to be very careful. Kasi otherwise, pag hindi ka careful, syempre mali yung sagot mo. Masasaktan ka pag mali yung decision mo. So kailangan careful ka. Ganun yun, guys. So kailangan dito rin careful kayo. Kasi syempre baka masiro kayo, di ba? So if you have your minus 2x, ito minus 2, magkakaroon ako ng plus 4 dito. This is equal to 7. And then you'll be left with negative x. And then ito magiging 5. And then this is equal to 7. Eventually, you'll be having here negative x is equal to, so 7 minus 5, that will be 2. And x should be equal to negative. Okay? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Anong napapansin ninyo? What can you see here? Is your x equals negative to your final answer? Yes or no? Sige, abangan ko inyong sagot. Is yung x negative 2 siya na ba yung sagot ko? Matagal ko nang hinahanap. Yes or no? So may mga watching daw from LSPU. So sabi ni Peter James Lion, yes daw, ano? Your x is equal to negative 2, siya yung ating natitira, actually. Okay? So may mga naka-heart, yes daw. O, nagche-check pa raw. Yes or no? So if you have your minus x, di ba ang tanging restriction mo kasi dito is with respect to the denominator kasi you don't want the denominator to be equal to 0, right? So we don't want to be equal to 0. So ang restriction mo ay dapat yung x mo. So ang restriction mo, x should not be equal to 2 kasi magsi-0 yung isa. X should not be equal to negative 1. Diba? So baka nalito kayo kasi nakakita ng 2, ay x negative 2 minus 2 ay 0, hindi. Minus 2 over 2 is equal to 4, ha? Negative 4, ha? Okay, malito. So ito dapat ang solution set. Bakit ang mga students, pag tinatanong kung sigurado sa sagot, hindi sigurado? Bakit ganon? Hindi naman, tinatanong namin, hindi naman namin, diba? Bakit? Yung totoo. Bakit? Pag sure naman siya, tama naman yung lumabas. Tapos pag tinanong mo, is this your final answer? Bigla siya nangangamba sa sarili niya, no? Hindi niya sure. So dapat meron kang counting confidence. Siyempre humble ka lang, pero dapat may counting confidence ka rin sa ginagawa mo, no? Kasi siyempre dapat tama yung ginagawa mo. So ang solution set mo dito, definitely, matitirahan ka dito ng negative 2. Okay? I-check nyo na lang sa sarili ninyo, no, kung yung sa values. Kasi dito sa denominator, definitely hindi naman yan na-violate. Ano? And syempre, kung nagsasatisfy siya ng equation by our method, dapat mag-satisfy din siya nito. Kung wala siya dun sa restriction na hinahanap natin. Okay? So, perform algebra, reduce equations, and then check for extraneous solutions. So, yung idea natin actually ng rational, yung general idea ng radical and rational, yung equations involving rational and radical, ang goal naman talaga natin ay syempre simplify. Pero at the end of your solutions, mapapansin nyo, laging dapat sure kayo, dapat nag-check kayo. Okay? So, dapat mag-check ng final answer kasi yung minsan kasi 'di ba dahil sa bilis natin confident na tayo, no, huwag kayo masyado makasigurado, although you have your confidence, kaunti lang, 'di ba? Still have that humility to check para makita nyo kung tama ba yung ginagawa nyo. Siyempre tama ba yung final answer na makikita nyo. Okay? So kopyahin nyo na lang ito, no? This should be equality, sorry. Ano ba yan? Dapat ito ay 1 over x minus 3 equals 1 over x plus 2. Sorry. Ito number 1. These are some of the expressions na pwede nyo. Marami namang available sa internet. Prescribe lang ito, no? Pero hindi naman ito lang. Marami namang available. You have your references, I think, if you are already in your junior high or senior high, meron kayong mga references na ginagamit. So pwede nyo siyang gamitin, ano. Usually ito naman ay kasama doon. Yeah. Okay. May tanong ba? Do you have any questions? So sa live natin ay anong ginagawa ng mga students? Ginagawa nilang na chat box yung ating comment. Pero okay lang. It's a good way. It's a good start para pumasok tayo, no, sa ating ano pa mga nandito? Nagkakagulo daw, sabi ni sir. Nagkakagulo daw mga tao. Yung iba seryoso, yung iba ay nakabuo na ng lab team. Ayan. Oh my gosh. Akala ko nagbago ng mga students, ano? Ganun, kahit college, huwag kayong mag-alala. Puro pag love life ang usapan, dire-diretso. Ano? Talagang kilig na kilig, no? Sabi nila, paano daw mawala yung anxiety sa math? Yan, magbiro kayo sa math. Ano, sometimes kasi it reduces your anxiety in mathematics. Okay? But, yeah. Bakit nga ganun, ano? Ganun na ba kauhaw ang mga young people? Ako naman ay young people din, ano? Ano pa rin naman ako sa age bracket ng young people. So, yung iba ay wala na daw tanong. Back to topic daw tayo, sir. Okay, so back to topic. Okay. So, let's now go with the systems of equations. So, dito sa ating scenario, hindi ko naman i-discuss yung mga general case, may mga non-linear equations. I-confine lang natin dun sa medyo manageable yung kaya sa time natin. So, we have here a linear system of the equations in two variables. So, we have defined that as, so kung system siya, tapos linear in two equations, in two variables, ang case natin, kunwari, ang x at saka y, this is of the form a sub 1 over x plus b sub 1 times y, a sub 1 times x plus b sub 1 times y is equal to c sub 1. And then a sub 2 times x plus b sub 2 times y is equal to c sub 2. So yung mga coefficients na binigay sa atin dito ay constant, syempre. These are constants. And then, syempre, pwede rin siya mag-zero. Pwede rin naman mawala yun. Yung iba ay, although napaka-straightforward pag nawala yung isa. No? So if we left with this, you're left with this, ang case natin ay, gusto mo kaya siya linear, ang highest variable, highest degree present doon sa lahat ng polynomial o doon sa lahat ng terms mo ay 1. Okay? So, kayo makikita dyan ng mga square, naka-square, kasi magiging systems of nonlinear equations yon. Okay? So, i-confine mo natin yung sarili natin sa linear kasi yung linear nga medyo hirap na tayo, di ba? So, how much more kung nonlinear siya? So, ang ibig sabihin lang naman ito, yung left braces natin, ibig sabihin nakakouple yung system natin, ibig sabihin magkasama sila. So, the left braces systems, this indicates yung equations natin are, this represents a system. This represents a system, no? Okay. Kailangan po ba talaga yung bracket pag systems of equations? Yes. Kasi that indicates na magkasama sila. Although, paano ba? Kailangan ba? Depende kasi yun sa nagdatingin. Ano? Kunwari, kung convention yun na wala na, ay di okay lang kung wala na. Pero hindi ito, generally, what we're trying to do ay nilalagyan talaga natin siya ng left bracket para malaman natin na siya ay magkasama. Okay? So, para sa sure tayo na sila ay coupled system. Para sila ay nakaka-apekto dun sa isang value. And yung solution ng system, so ituloy ko lang, the solution to this system of equations is an ordered pair. Kasi remember, you have a value for your x and then you have a value of your y. So, meron kang instance kung saan yung solution ko ngayon ay isang ordered pair. Hindi lang siya isang value, hindi single value, no? And then, if that's the case, dapat itong ordered pair ko, matatawag ko siyang solution to this system if and only if, syempre, nasasatisfy niya yung two equations simultaneously. Hindi lang dapat yung isa. Dapat, in that instant, yung value ng x and then yung value ng y ko, sure ako mahanap ang alin? Sure ako mahanap ko yung parehas ng sagot, no? Dapat masatisfy niya. Parehas. And mangyayari dapat kung i-substitute ko siya sa lahat ng values of your x and y. So magkakaroon ako ng s and t. So i-substitute ko lang yung s, which is yung first component ng ating ordered pair, and then yung t is the second component of your ordered pair. Okay? And so kung ganun yung case natin, maglagay tayo ng example. So example, 1, 1 is a solution to this system of equation. 10x plus y is equal to 11 and x plus 10y is equal to 11. One way to verify if it satisfies, kung totoo nga yan, ay i-graph ninyo. So kung if your professor, ito lang ha, payo lang naman, payong kaibigan lang naman. Wag niyong gawin na ito na yung problem tapos may solver kayo, no? Oo, madali. Sige, go, madali. Kaya niyo yan. Pero wala kayong natutunan. Lugi kayo. Sabi ng professor ko nung college, one of my known professors, sabi niya, edukasyon lang ang tanging bagay na natutuwa ang tao na nakukuha niya ay kakaunti. So, wag ganon. Do it with integrity yung ginagawa nyo. Ano? So, itong gagawin natin, itong ipapakita ko is just to check. Hindi siya yung way para mahanap yung sagot. Okay? Although it's another way. Pero, way siya to check. Gamitin nyo lang siya to check if your answer is correct. Wag yung kabila. Wag yung, ito yung solver. Ganun. So, tingnan natin, one way to solve this, kasi kung mapapansin nyo, this is a line. If this 10x plus y is equal to 11, this is a line. Also, yung 10 plus x plus 10y is equal to 11, this is a line. So, sabi natin, graphically speaking, ang ibig sabihin lang naman noon, yung solution ko ay yung intersection ng dalawang system na ito actually, ng graph niyan. So, kapag ginraph ko ito, magkakaroon ako ng, so i-graph lang natin. I have here a graphing tool, Geojebra. So you have here 10x plus y is equal to 11. So 10x plus y is equal to 11. And then you have here x plus 10y. So you have here x plus 10y is equal to 11. So sabi dito, malalaman daw natin solution dun sa intersection ng ating graph. That gives you the solution. So tingnan natin, sabi dito, 1, 1 is a solution to this system of equation, which is true kasi nakita natin, graphically speaking, yun yung intersection natin. Okay? Next. The system below has no solution. So number 2, meron tayong system kung saan the system below has no solution since no ordered pair satisfies the two equations simultaneously. So tingnan natin anong itsura niya. Pag ginraph nyo kasi yan, ang mangyayari dyan, tatanggalin ko lang ito. Yung isa ay 10x minus 2y is equal to 5. 10x minus 2y is equal to 5. And then yung isa kasi ay 5x minus y is equal to 10. So ano mapapansin ninyo? Graphically speaking, kasi sila ay parallel lines. And parallel lines do not meet. No? Parang yung crush mo at saka ikaw. Hindi sila mag-meet, no? So, if that's the case, walang way para sila ay mag-meet. Ibig sabihin, wala silang solution itong system na to, no? So 10x minus 2 is equal to 5 and 5x minus 5 is equal to 10. Kasi nga sila ay parallel. Yung graphically, sila ay parallel lines. Okay? And next is the system below has infinitely many solutions. So negative 1, 0 is a solution, but 1, 1 is not. So you can name some more solutions kasi nga infinitely many solutions. So there are many and infinitely many. So pag sinabi mo infinitely many ay marami-rami. So meron akong 10x minus 2y is equal to 10. 10x minus 2y is equal to 10. And then, anong isa pa? 5x minus y. 5x minus y is equal to 5. So kung mapapansin niyo dito, actually, kaya siya infinitely many solutions. Kasi infinitely many intersections sila. Kasi ang case lang naman nito ay yung isa ay constant multiple nung isa. If you multiply 5x minus y is equal to 5 by 2, I guess, yeah, 2. Ito ay lalabas yung isa. Okay? Kaya ang gawin nyo lang, pag ganito yung case mo, kumuha ka lang ng values that will characterize. Actually, humanap ka lang ng point na nandoon sa line na yon. And there are infinitely many. Okay? So, there are infinitely many. Ibig sabihin, napakarami. Kahit i-enumerate niyo yan buong magdamag, ay hindi matatapos. Kahit hanggang next year, hindi kayo matatapos. Kasi infinitely many solutions. Okay? So, yun yung mga general case natin. And meron tayong mga tawag sa mga system na ito, no? So, if a system has a unique solution, kagaya ng number 1, sabihin ko na yung sagot, kasi may exercise dito eh. Identify the type of each systems. Okay. So, kagaya ng number 1, ang tawag natin kapag ang system ay may unique solution, ang tawag natin sa kanya ay consistent. Okay? Yeah, consistent. Kapag walang solution, ang tawag natin sa kanya inconsistent, definitely. Pero kapag sinabi natin na multiple solutions, kagaya ng number 3, infinitely many yung solutions niya, dependent, no? Kung ilet mo lang siya na x tapos yung y must something, then lahat ng points na nagsasatisfy dun sa line na yun gives you your solution. Kaya infinitely many. So ito yung tawag natin sa kanya, no? And yeah, identify this. Okay. Now, how to solve this system of equations? So first is you have to do, ang una nyong gawin ay solve by, ito yung pinaka-common, solve by substitution. Okay? So, by substitution, number 1, you have to solve for one variable in one of the equations. Kaya siya substitution kasi you're solving the other variable as, in terms of the others. Para later on, kapag sinubstitute mo na siya, isang variable na lang, no? You're left with one variable and then masasolve mo rin yung isang variable through the other variable. So if you have here first, you have to solve for one variable first in one of the equations. Substitute from the word substitution. Kung walang substitution dyan, ba't substitution ang tawag? No? Kailangan i-substitute. And then solve the resulting linear equation in one variable. So substitute the result in number 3 in the equation obtained in number 1. Kasi in number 3, mahahanap mo lang ay yung unang variable. So after solving for that, kakaroon ka ngayon ng value na, kakaroon ka ngayon ng mga values kung saan ay, ano nangyari? Yeah. Magkakaroon ka ng isang value dun sa isa, tapos kasi sinolve mo siya in terms of the other, di ba yung kanina. Masasolve mo rin yung isa pang variable. Okay? So for example, you have to solve and determine the solution set of the system. 2x minus 4y is equal to 10, and 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. Okay? So let's try to answer this by hand. Tingnan natin, no? Basta yung aking mahiwagang paint. So sabi meron akong system of equation. So system of your equation given by, nasa na? So meron akong 2x. Nasa na yun? Ano nga yun? 2x minus 4y is equal to 10. So 2x minus 4y is equal to 10. And then, sorry. So 10. And then yung isa daw ay 3x plus 4y is equal. 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. So, ang gawin niyo sabi doon, labelan lang natin para ma-take note natin, ano? Ayun yung halaga ng labels, bakit natin nilalagyan ng number labels na yung numbering para masundan natin kung saan galing yung mga solutions later on. So, ang case natin, if that's the case natin, nasa na ba ako? Ayan. Systems, ano? So, what will happen is that this is just the one solution. So, hindi naman siya yun lang yung tanging solution. There can be others. Pwede namang isa. So, for example, ito. So, kunwari, from 1, kakaroon ako ng, so, isolve ko lang, magkakaroon ako ng x minus 2y is equal to 5. So, if that's the case, so divide both sides by 2. So, magkakaroon ako ng x minus 2y is equal to 5. Implying that, syempre, magkakaroon ako ng x equals 2y plus 5. Sabi kasi kanina, isolve daw natin yung isang variable in terms of the other. And then, from there, this will be used as a substitution tool para dun sa isa. So, ang label natin ay, lagyan natin ito ng label na to. So, from 3 to 2, from 3, papunta ka, at saka sa 2, mangyayari, itong value na to ng equation ko, isa-substitute ko dun sa value ng x doon. So, you're left with 3 times 2y plus 5 plus 4y is equal to 5. And then from there, you'll be having here 6y plus 15 plus 4y is equal to 5. And then you're left with 10y. Tapos dito magkakaroon ako ng 5 minus 15, magkakaroon ako ng negative 10. And then y will be equal to negative. Okay? Is that your final answer? No, kasi hindi pa tayo tapos kasi sabi kailangan ordered pair siya, no? So if that's the case, balik ka dito, no? So nahanap mo isang variable, ito yung step 4 na tinatawag natin kanina, step 3. Ang gawin mo, if that's y equals to 1, so if y is equal to 1, then ang mangyayari, magkakaroon ka ng x equals 2 times negative 1 plus 5. Now this is equal to negative 2 plus 5, which is equal to 3. Okay? So therefore, the solution is, so don't forget to conclude. So the solution is the ordered pair 3, negative 1. And the solution set definitely, ilagay mo lang siya. So yung solution set may ordered pairs, no? Set of ordered pairs. So the solution set is the set containing ordered pair 3, negative 1. Okay, kasi dapat magkasama sila. This is an ordered pair. Okay? Medyo madali kasi substitution at saka 2. 2 lang yung variables, 2 unknowns. Okay? The same principle is being applied pag 3. So, kunwari, substitution tas 3 variables. Ayan, so verify that the solution is 3, negative 1. Yun yung na-solve natin kanina. How do we verify? Just substitute 3 and negative 1 to all the values of your x's and then see that it satisfies the solution simultaneously. Actually, yung system na meron tayo. Okay? How about if you're doing substitutions pero 3 variable, ano? 3 variables yung gagamitin natin. So number 1, solve for ito yon. So solve for the other variables. Halos similar. Ang case lang natin kapag ganyan ay, am I sharing my slide? Ayan. Sorry. Nawala siya share. So, if that's the case, no, meron akong solving for one variable in one equations, dapat isolve ko siya dun sa isa kasi tatlo to eh. Kaya ang mangyayari, parang yung isa, conduit siya. So, parang container siya ng dalawang variable na natitira. And then substitute this to the other equations, tapos magre-result ka. Yung 3 mo, magiging 2 by 2. Tapos yung 2 by 2 mo, doon mo masasolve. And then backtrack mo. So masasolve mo isang variable, sa isang system, tapos pabalik ka. Ganun lang. So pag substitution, usually kaya from the word substitution, ang ginagawa lang naman natin ay isinosolve lang natin yung other variables in terms of the others. Okay? So if that's the case, kung meron akong solution na, meron akong system na 5x minus y plus 4z is equal to 5, 2x plus 3y plus 5z is equal to 2, and 7x minus 2y plus 6z is equal to 5. Wait. So solve natin this. Let us solve this. If that's the case, so meron akong system na 5x minus y plus 4z is equal to 5. Label natin na 1. 2x plus 3y plus 5z is equal to 2. And then you have here 7x minus 2y plus 6z is equal to 5. So this now is 2 and this now is 3. Extend ko lang to, sorry. 7x minus 2y plus, okay. So from 1, makahanap natin, solve natin yung isa, no? Yung ginagawa ko ay hindi lang yun yung solution, ha? Hindi siya unique na yun lang dapat. There are other ways of doing it. Sinasabi na yun lang yung ginawa ko, yun lang yung solution, hindi. This is just a solution, this is just a way. Kasi posibleng isolve nyo, magsimula kayo sa isang variable o sa ibang variables. Okay? So in our case, from number 1, ang pinakamadali ay ilipat ko si negative y sa kabila. Tapos, yung constant dun sa left-hand side. So, ang mangyayari, from number 1, I'm left with 5x plus 4z minus 5 is equal to y. So, this gives yung equation number 4. Labelan lang natin siya na equation number 4. And then, from ano pa? So, ito, so isa-substitute ko ngayon itong 4 sa lahat ng values ng y doon sa natitira. So, kasi ginamit ko na yung 1, huwag nyo siyang gamitin kasi. Ayun na nga yun eh. Yun ang yung pinanggalingan ng y mo eh. Huwag nyo gamitin yung 1, no? Ang gawin nyo ay dun sa natitirang dalawa, nyo siya gamitin para sa values ng y. So, dito, so kunwari, from 4 at saka 2, you'll be left with 2x plus 3 times 5x plus 4z minus 5 is plus 5z is equal to, saan ito equal? To 2. Pag sinimplify ko yan, magkakaroon ako ng 2x plus 15x plus 12z minus 15. Tama ba? Minus 15 plus 5z is equal to 2. So, ipudin ko lahat ng constant sa kanan and then lahat ng mga z at saka x dito. So, sa lahat ng values ng x, you'll be left with 17x kasi meron akong 2 at saka 15. Tapos, meron akong 12 plus 5 kay z. So, magkakaroon ako ng 17x plus 17z is equal to, sa right-hand side, magkakaroon ako ng 15 kasi ito ay negative, magiging positive. So, magiging 15 plus 2. You'll be left with x is equal to, So, magiging 17 din ito nasa kaliwa eh. Ito nasa kanan. So, ang mangyayari, pag divide ko both sides by 17, magkakaroon ako ng x plus z is equal to 1. Label natin, lagyan natin ng label, equation number 5. Next, gawin natin yung same case kapag from number 4 at saka 2. So, if that's the case, magkakaroon ako ng 7x. So, magkakaroon ako ng 7x minus 2 times the value of y here. So, magkakaroon ako ng 5x plus 4z minus 5 is equal to, may kulang pa, plus 6z is equal to 5. And then from there, you'll be having here 7x. Distribute ko lang, magkakaroon ako ng minus 10x, minus 8z, plus 10. Tapos dito magkakaroon ako ng 6z equals 5. Just as the same thing, magkakaroon ako dito negative 3x. Tama ba? Tapos magkakaroon ako ng minus 2z. Kasi negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2. Ito magkakaroon ako dito sa kabila, magiging negative siya. So, you'll be having here negative 5. Gawin ko lang positive para positive ang buhay. So para lang makamalinis. So, lagyan lang natin gawin lang natin positive. So, 3x plus 2z is equal to. So, 5, this is 6. And then from here, mapapansin ninyo na anong mangyayari. Substitution pa rin tayo, ano? So from 5, mapapansin niyo na, so this from 5, yung x mo ngayon will be, yung z mo ngayon will be 1 minus x. Substitution tayo ha. Tawagin natin itong 7, equation number 7. So from 7 and 6, so from 7 and 6, ito yung 6 natin. So isa-substitute natin ngayon yung 7 dun sa 6. So magkakaroon ngayon ako ng 3x. Tama ba? Yeah. 3x plus 2 times 1 minus x is equal to 5. And then from there, you'll be having 3x plus 2 minus 2x is equal to 5. And then x will now be equal to, ito 3 minus 2 magiging x, sa kabila magiging 3. So meron ka ng isa, tapos kailangan mo na lang yung iba pa. So from 7, alam natin na nakuha natin yung value niya. So from 7, magiging z mo will be 1 minus 3, which is equal to negative 2. And kung ang case mo ay z mo ay negative 2, punta ka kay from number 4, yung original natin, kasi na-solve na natin si z at saka si x. So magkakaroon na ngayon ako ng 5 times 3 plus 4 times negative 2 minus 5. This is equal to 15 plus negative 8 minus 5. Saan ako na? Wait lang, nawala ako. 5 times 3. Tama, times 4 plus, yeah. So, mangyayari, magkakaroon ako ng 5 minus 8 minus 5. So, mangyayari, this will be equal to 5 minus 8, maging 13 to. Negative 13. 15 minus 13, this is 2. So, ang hinahanap mong value ng triple, kasi ito ay hindi na basta ordered pair, siya ay triple na. So, the solution, sabihin nyo lang the solution to the system is yung ordered pair mo na 3, 2, triple to. And syempre yung solution set niya, yung set containing 3, 2, minus 2. Question so far? Alright. So, yun yung substitution. So, mapapansin niyo na yung 3, yung variables of 3, babalik siya dun sa 2 by 2. Parang gano'n, no? Nakapaloob yung 2 by 2 doon sa 3 by 3. Kapag ginamitan mo siya sa 3 by 3. Okay? Here's another one. Meron tayong tinatawag na elimination method. So, under elimination method, ang case natin dyan ay mag-eliminate tayo. So, from the term elimination, kailangan after you do some tweak, meron kang tweak na gagawin. After you have yung same na coefficient, ang mangyayari, either you have equal or both negative. So, i-add mo ngayon or i-minus mo yung dalawang equations. So, dapat ma-eliminate mo yung isa. So, kung i-add or isa-subtract mo man yung isang equation, dapat ang maiwan sa kanya ay linear equation na ngayon sa isang variable. So that you'll be able to solve for the values of your remaining unknowns. And then substitute mo siya dun sa system na alam. So kapag elimination method, ang case natin ay mag-eliminate. From the word elimination, dapat mag-eliminate ka ng variable. So kapag elimination method yung gagamitin, so meron akong eliminate to. Sir, medyo mataas po. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Pwede po ba mag-elimination round? Hindi ko doon sa loob ng substitution, pwede na naman siguro. Pwede naman, no? Ang, kung ang goal mo lang naman ay hanapin siya, tapos walang prescribed method, hindi gamitin mo, yun naman yung napakasaya para sa'yo, ano? Pero kung kung prescribed na dapat ganito, dapat all the way gagamitin mo siya. So meron tayong tinatawag na elimination. Yun na nga yung sinasabi niya, may elimination method tayo. Okay? So yun yung case natin, no? Solve natin to x minus 2y. So you have here x minus 2y. So meron akong system of equation na x minus 2y is equal to 5. And then 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. So 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. So using elimination method, ang ginagawa natin ay kailangan mag-result ka into a system na mayroong parehas na coefficients. Kasi valid yun eh. So labelan lang natin, magkakaroon ako ng 1 at saka 2 here. So ang solution natin dito, magkakaroon ako ngayon ng yung 1, magmumultiply ako ng 2. Kasi mapapansin ninyo, yung minus 2y dito sa taas, tapos dito may 4y. Kailangan mag-similar siya. Or kung gusto kong eliminate yung x, i-multiply ko siya by 3 tapos i-minus ko. Ganon. So, ang gagawin ko muna ngayon for now ay yung multiply by 2. So, kung mangyayari, multiplying 2 by multiply yung 2 to the equation number 1, ang mangyayari, magkakaroon ngayon ako ng system of equation na 2x minus 4y minus is equal to 10, and then 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. Ulit. Bakit ko sir ginawa yun? Kasi yun yung goal ng elimination, to eliminate a variable. Okay? So if that's the case, kailangan pares yung coefficient niya. So kung nari, kagaya nito, 4 to, dapat yung i-eliminate ko dito ay, kung y ang gusto kong tanggalin, multiply ako ng 2 sa kanya. Kung gusto kong x naman, ang i-eliminate ko first, ang gagawin ko, i-multiply ko naman sa 3 and then i-minus ko. Ito naman, ang case natin, since magkaiba naman sila ng system, ng signs, so ang mangyayari, magkakaroon ngayon ako ng, pag inad ko yan, kakaroon ako ng 5x. Tama? So, if you have that, magkakaroon ako ng 5x. Tapos may eliminate ko ngayon yung 4y. So, inad ko. And then you'll be having here 15. And then x will now be equal to 3. Yes? And then, if that's the case, just use the first equation to x is equal to 2y plus 5. Yun na, substitution lang. So, from 1, malalaman mo na yung 3 minus 2y is equal, 3 minus 2y is equal to 5, implying that yung y ko will be, so this means that, ano mangyayari sa equation ko? Kakaroon ako ng minus 2y is equal to 2? Yeah. And then we have here y is equal to, so kakaroon ako ng negative. And then from there, magkakaroon ngayon ako ng solution set. So the solution, so solution mo ngayon will be your ordered pair 3 at saka negative 1. And yung solution set mo ay, complete nyo na lang ano. Kasi usually, syempre, mas na-appreciate ng mga professors yung complete answers, no? So 3, negative. Sabihin nyo na lang na, so the solution to the system is ito. Tapos, kung solution set yung hinahanap, ito yung sagot niyo. Again, depende sa convention, depende sa hinihingi ng professor, depende sa kung paano diniscuss sa klase. But either way, yung pinakamahalaga dyan, syempre yung value ng x at saka ng y. That will satisfy simultaneously the equations, no, na meron ka. Okay? The same goes with elimination method. Ang nangyayari lang, i-eliminate mo muna isa. This is a very long process. Hindi ko na ito i-discuss masyado, no? But the case is the same pag 3 by 3. Ang goal mo, eliminate mo muna yung isa. So after you eliminate, multiply mo ulit siya. Tapos magkakaroon ko ulit ng dalawang systems of equation. Then use another round of elimination method. Tapos, ayun ulit. Babalik ka ngayon. Tapos i-backtrack mo ulit siya. Okay? So it may sound easy for pag dinidiscuss, no, ni sir. Dali-dali naman kay sir. Pero ano siya, it takes practice because mathematical solving or mathematics In general, how you solve yung problems mo problem solving is a skill. Hindi siya talent na bukas ay kinabukasan alam mo na agad. Hindi. So, meron din nadadaan din sa sipag actually, no? So, the more that you do it, the more that you learn from it. Kaya ang payo ko sa inyo, syempre, you do it by hand. Kasi otherwise, there is no easy way. No? Walang isang madaling paraan para i-solve 'yon, kundi mag-aralin mo talaga, practicing mo talaga siya. 'Di ba? Ayun. So, try that. Siyempre dapat same problem lang naman, dapat parehas pa rin yung makuha yung XY. Okay? Question so far? May tanong ba? I'll be waiting for them sa live. Sir, medyo mataas po. Pwede po ba? Okay. May mga tanong ba tayo? So, kayo na lang, ano? Yan, tama naman. Okay. Yeah, kung ang sayaw daw ay pinapractice, ganun din daw dapat ang math. Tama. This is a skill, naman. It's a skill. Hindi siya talent. Bukas magaling ka na, hindi. You may have you may have what it takes, pero pag hindi ka nagsasanay, syempre, edi mahihirapan ka talaga. Okay? So I guess we can have a quick break. Sir Josh.
Yes po, sir.
Magkailan tayo ng konting break na.
Break po muna tayo ng
okay.
a few minutes pa.
Okay, sige. I guess 5 minutes, pwede ba?
Sige po.
Okay
po, sir. Sige lang po, sir.
Thank you.
Okay
sige,
po, everyone.
So,
sige po, sir.
I'll be back by anong oras na? I guess 10:45? Sige.
Sige po, sir.
Okay, sige.
Okay po. So sa ating mga participants, konting break muna tayo. Let's have a pause from our solving ng ating equations for this topic po. Okay po. So Sir Jcob, no, parang may mabubuatang mga love team dito sa ating discussion, no?
Ganyan talaga ang mga students. No? Diyan na nag-enjoy. Pero pag nagdi-discuss ka, board na board yan.
Naging tulay pa ang algebra daw, no? Para mabuo.
Yung pala yung magic. Hindi iba palang magic.
Yun pala yung magic, no, sir?
Yung pala yung magic na inaantay nila, no? Anyway.
Sige po, sir. Okay, everyone. We'll be back in 5 minutes po. Thank you.
A center of knowledge, innovation, history, culture, and biodiversity. This is the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. UPLB found its home at the foot of the legendary Mount Makiling in Los Baños, Laguna, a short distance from Laguna de Bay, the country's largest lake. It has its beginnings in 1909 as the UP College of Agriculture, a tent school for a handful of students. A year after, the Forest School, or what was to become the College of Forestry, also set up its home in Los Baños. In 1972, the UP College of Agriculture and the College of Forestry, that had by then become renowned institutions, were granted full autonomy as the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Instruction, research, and extension in agriculture and forestry in the country took root and flourished in UPLB. Through its strength in these two fields, UPLB established niches in various areas: biotechnology, engineering, veterinary medicine, natural resources conservation, environmental science and management, human ecology, food science, economics and management, public affairs, and development communication. It drew its strength in the arts and other fields of science, from harnessing its expertise and human resource in the biological, physical, and social sciences. Today, UPLB degree programs continue to dominate over its counterparts. Over the years, UPLB has developed graduate programs that continue to attract students far and wide, including collaborative programs with international universities in food security, biodiversity conservation, and development. To make graduate programs more accessible to professionals, UPLB offers them off-campus. Recently, UPLB established the UP Professional School for Agriculture and the Environment in Mindanao, the country's food basket, in order to help build the knowledge capital that the country needs to attain food security. Instruction in UPLB is enhanced by a strong and vigorous engagement in research and public service that enables it to produce knowledge and generate technologies and innovations that promote sustainable living, making it a strong force in the war against hunger and poverty in the country. Extension and public service are the mechanisms by which UPLB brings this knowledge and technologies to the people, as well as for it to know what they need and to help shape policies in the country. UPLB's reputation as a graduate and research university was formed through the continuous aspiration for excellence and the mutual reinforcement between instruction, research, and public service and extension. It brings in partnerships with local and international universities and provides mobility to faculty members, researchers and scientists, and students, and enhances their competitiveness. Instruction, research, and extension and public service in UPLB reflect the dynamism, honor, and excellence that its forebears set as a standard for its leaders to aspire for.
Okay, so Sir Jacob, are we good po?
Yeah.
Okay
okay.
po. Sige po. Everyone, going back on this Zoom space po is Sir Jacob. Take it away, sir.
Okay, so I'm back, no? Medyo quick break lang, no? Inom-inom mo ng tubig, tayo-tayo, ano? Okay. So let's now go to yung part kung yung mga functions, ano, yung mga dun sa mga functions na alam natin. Kasi kanina pag-solve ng mga equations yung given sa atin, ano. But let's now go to relations and functions, ano. So let's have some quick recap of what is a relation and what is a function. Okay. So formally speaking, yung relations and functions kasi galing siya sa tinatawag natin na cross product. So if you have here a set, no, meron akong set A and then set B, they are non-empty sets. Ibig sabihin, may laman sila, no? May mga elements sila sa loob. And the cross product of A and B denoted by A cross B is given by this. So ang ginagawa whenever you are operating whenever you are dealing with cross products and nag-operate ka ng cross product dun sa dalawang system o sa dalawang set, ang ginagawa mo ay you're forming a set. Actually, you're forming another set. Again, whenever you are having your cross product, bumubuo ka ulit ng panibagong set na ang laman ng set ng A cross B, yung set A cross B, ang laman niya ay ordered pairs. Ano? So, ang ordered pairs ay, ang first component ay galing sa A. So, yun yung purpose ng cross product mo. Ang first ang first element ay galing, ang first component of your ordered pairs from the first, kung ano yung set na to. And then, yung second component will now be galing dun sa second, ano. So, si cross product, binubuo niya yung lahat ng ordered pairs na nagsasatisfy ng ang first component daw ay galing sa A and the second component ay galing sa B. Okay? So, depende sa A at B, may mga properties kung saan hindi equal yung ang A cross B, hindi equal sa B cross A. Merong iba naman na pwede na parehas, A cross B is equal to B cross A. May ganon, no? So, hindi natin yung tatakel. Pero, ang goal lang natin ngayon, pag sinabi ng nating cross product, kinukuha niya yung entire No, kinukuha niya yung entire possibilities na ang first component ay galing sa A at ang second component ay galing sa B. Now, under that cross product, sabi natin kasi set siya, 'di ba? Yung A cross B. Ang nangyayari, what's happening is nagkakaroon ako ng tinatawag na relation. So, a relation R from A to B, which is denoted by, well, this, A papunta kay B, is a non-empty subset of A cross B. So, kasi di ba sabi natin yung A cross B gives you all the possibilities of ordered pairs such that yung first ay galing sa A and then B ay galing, yung second component ay galing sa B. Now, ang sinasabi ng relation ko, meron na ngayon akong laman, may laman yung A cross B na nilalaman ng relation R. Okay? So, subset siya noong, ang tawag natin sa kanya, subset noong A cross B. Okay? This is the formal definition. So, ang case natin pag ganito, so kunwari, meron akong A, B. I can relate ngayon yung value, I can assign some rule, no? For with respect to X or with respect to B, ganon. Pero alam natin na siya ay subset ng A cross B, yung relation na yan. And ang relation natin ay meron pa, medyo pahirapan pa natin. So, ang doon sa loob ng relations mo, meron ka pang function na tinatawag, ano. So, let A and B be non-empty subsets or non-empty set, sorry. And then, a function is a relation from A to B. So, dapat nagsasatisfy na siya ay relation, pero ang nangyayari, each element in A, there corresponds a unique element in B. Anong implication, sir, nung function, ano? Kasi may mga equations or may mga equations na hindi function. No, relation lang siya. Ano kasi, sabi dito, dapat daw mas strict na yung function kasi dapat sa isang element ng A, is that one is to many, sir? Or is that one is to many, sir? Or many is to one? May tanong si Erwin, is that one, ano ulit? Is that one is to many, sir? Or many? Ano ibig sabihin? Hindi ko rin na-gets. Baka ang ibig sabihin mo ay posible kasi na posible na magkakaiba yung first element pero same second component. Pwede 'yon. Kasi ang tanging idea lang naman kapag function ay ito yung sagot. Kailangan walang nauulit na first component. Okay? Kasi kagaya, mamaya papakita ko sa inyo kanina, posible na isa lang yung y niya pero marami siyang x. Diba? Tapos, kung alam mo yung graph ng function mo or alam mo yung graph ng relation mo, so siyempre hindi mo pa alam kung function eh. One way to do is what we call pinakaalam natin. Ano yung pinakaalam natin? Yung graphical. Pag graphical, alam natin yung graph ng relations ay yung tinatawag natin na vertical line test. So sabi ni vertical line test, kapag daw mag-graph, I will be graphing a lot of vertical lines. And dapat, yung lahat ng vertical lines na yon magpapass through at most once lang. Pwedeng hindi, pero dapat at most once lang. Okay? So, yun yung vertical line test na tinatawag natin. Okay? So, sabi kanina, tama, meron ditong comment. May comment dito na not all relation is a function. Tama. Kasi hindi lahat ng relations nagsasatisfy kasi posible na bagsak siya doon sa vertical line test. Ano ba yung pinaka-common? Meron daw dito yung sabi, sige gamitin natin para masaya. Yung mga GeoGebra natin. Kasi libre naman ang GeoGebra, di ba? So gamitin natin ang GeoGebra niya. So kunwari, meron kang relation. Ano ba yung pinaka-common na relation na alam niyo? Yung pinaka-maganda? Kunwari, x squared plus, yung common, x squared plus y squared is equal to, kunwari ay 4. So, this is a relation, ano? Kasi this assigns a certain relation ng x at saka y. Kaya subset siya ng A cross B. So, kung mapapansin niyo pag nagpadaan ako dito ng maraming vertical lines, dun sa dulo, syempre, once lang yan. So, kunwari, x is equal to negative 2. Negative 2. Once lang yan mag-ano. Ganun din kapag ang x ko ay negative, kunwari, 2. So, once lang siya magpapass through doon. Pero pag lampas mo doon, in between negative 2 to 2, so kunwari, x is equal to negative 1, kunwari 1, makakapansin niyo, meron na siyang intersections. Diba? So, ito, intersection yan, intersection to. Ayan. Okay? So, kapag pinadaan ko yan dyan, makikita nyo na na-violate niya na, no? And alam naman natin na itong x squared plus y squared na hindi siya function. Pero there's a way for us, syempre, hindi naman siya mananatiling ganyan. There's a way for us to make this relation somehow gawin natin siyang function. Meron tayong loop, meron tayong gagawin sa kanya. Ang gagawin mo ay pwede mo siyang putulin sa semicircle gamit yung idea na dapat y is in terms of your x. Kaya ang sinasabi natin dito, pwede naman kasi yung yung many to one, Pwede 'yon. Many to one, many x's sa isang 1, pwede 'yon. Pero kung kunwari, 1 to many, hindi pwede. Kasi sabi nga, ma-violate niya yung idea na dapat yung isang x ko, isa lang siya. Dapat hindi mauulit. No? Yung para sa values ng y ko. Okay? So, no two ordered pairs of the same first component. Yeah. Okay? Question? Makagraph ka no. Ayan, so, ang isa sa mga masasaya kasi kunwari kapag hindi isa sa mga masasaya kasi kapag alam mo yung kunwari may graphing tool ka kagaya nito GeoGebra. This is a way for you to learn, 'di ba? Learning siya. Pero wag niyo naman siyang gamitin para mandaya ulit. This is just to verify, this is just to show, this is for illustration purposes. Hindi ko sinasabing dito niyo hugutin yung mga sagot wag naman, sayang naman ang inyong matututunan. Sir, paano ma-determine yung two symmetrical points? Paano ma-determine daw yung two symmetrical points na yan? Ano ibig sabihin nun? Paano daw ma-determine itong 2 points na to? Tama ba ako? Wait lang, isipin ko. How do you pag ma-determine mo yung intersection na to kapag wait. So, if you have here x squared minus y squared equals, wait lang. Ma-determine mo yung value ng alam ko na. So, ma-determine mo yung okay. Pinahirapan ko yung sarili ko. Paano daw ba ma-determine yung two vertical? Kasi kunwari, kung ano yung value ng x ko dito, pinahirapan ko yung sarili ko ulit. Kunwari, di ba ito? Di ba meron akong circle? Ma-determine ko yan kasi di ba x yun? Ang x ko ay 1. So, ang gawin ko, substitute ko lang yung x is equal to 1 sa equation and then solve for the values of your y. Makukuha mo yung positive at saka negative. Actually, positive, negative yun. Ayun. Kasi magkakaroon ako ng y squared equals something naka-square is equal to 4. Okay? Same goes yun. Sabi ni Peter, it also goes with quadratic equations na nag-open sa right at saka sa left. Same naman. So, kunwari, meron kang relation na ano ba yung mga x squared. Ito pinaka-common, x squared is equal to y. X is equal to y squared pala. Ayun, ito yun. So, pag nag-vertical line test ka rin dyan, ayun at most na siya. Actually, hindi na siya nagsasatisfy dito pa lang. Na vertical line test. Actually, lahat. Isa siya talagang siya. If you know the graph, Kung meron kayong tool, di masaya. Kung wala kayong tool, paano? Diba? Dapat alam niyo yung graph. Okay? So, yeah. Applicable. Applicable naman. Kung kunwari, nakabaliktad, pwede rin. Minus y square. Ayun. Ibahin nyo lang yung value ng x mo. Kunwari, negative to yung gamitin mo. Ayun. Ganun lang din. Actually, yung mga parabola opening to the left at saka to the right, hindi sila function talaga. Kasi definitely, pag nagpadaan ka dyan ng vertical lines, magpapass through siya na actually twice, at most twice na to. All throughout. Okay? So, let's just continue. There are different types of functions na nabuo tawag dito? Nabuo all throughout, no? May mga tinatawag na tayo, no? Conventions. So, una, yung tawag natin ay constant function. Pag sinabi natin constant function, ang form niya ay y is equal to something or f of x is equal to some constant value. Any real number will do. At ang domain niyan, ito yung sinasabi ko na pwede yung many is to 1. Kasi this relation here assigns all values dun sa real sa isang value lang ng y, which is kung ano man yung value na to, c. Kaya ang graph niyan, pag ginraph mo to, ay this is a horizontal line. This passes through 0, c. No? Ito ay, ang tawag natin sa kanya ay y-intercept. From the word y-intercept, it is the point kung saan na-intercept niya yung y-axis. Kaya y-intercept. Okay? So, kunwari, common example, di ba? Kunwari, y is equal, magbigay kayo ng value, y is equal to 2, o y is equal to 2, o edi ayun. Sabi kanina, pwedeng maraming values ng y, pwedeng maraming values ng x, pero isa lang yung value ng y. And it points to what we call the constant function. Tawag natin sa kanya, constant function. Okay? Easy peasy pa, no? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Dali pa. Next is yung kapatid niyan ng constant function, yung linear function. Actually, na-inherit naman ng linear. Kapag ang m kasi ay 0 mo, constant yun. Kaso lang, syempre, para lang mahiwalay yung characterization nila, yung paano yung tsura niya, ganun. I-require lang natin na hindi siya 0. So, kunwari, meron akong linear function. So, from the word linear, linear, ang line ay, syempre, linear function. Function yun, no? Kung meron kang form na y is equal to mx plus b. M mo ay hindi dapat 0. Madali sa kanya yung domain at saka yung range. Again, i-define natin. Hindi ko na-define kanina. Ano sir ibig sabihin ng domain at saka ng range? Pag sinabi natin domain, siya yung lahat ng set ng values na permissible. No? Kung ano man yung set na ginagalawan mo, siya yung lahat ng collection ng lahat ng values of your first component that is permissible to your function, to your relation, or to the function pala, sorry. So function. So lahat ng permissible values of your x. Tapos yung range naman, that gives you all the possible outcomes of your function. So lahat ng possible outcomes, lalabas yung range natin. Okay? So again, domain is the permissible values of your x. Tapos yung range naman, yung lahat ng possible values for your y. Okay? Kaya explicitly natin lalagay yung y is equal to something in terms of the x para kita natin na siya ay function ng x. Okay? Ang graph nito ay isang general line. So kung ang m naman ay this represents the slope, no? Para siyang slope of the line. Pag nakita mo yung, syempre, pag naghanap ka ng kunwari, y is equal to mx plus b, y is equal to, for example, 4x plus some value, kunwari 3. Yung 3 mo deserves as your y-intercept. Diba? Ang tawag natin sa kanyang form ay slope-intercept form. M at saka b. No? Passes through yung 3. Y is equal to 3. Alright. Constant, linear, ano susunod? Here's what we call the quadratic function. Na-experience natin kanina, pag sinabing quadratic, syempre square, kailangan may 2, may naka-square sa kanya. So, quadratic function. Ang isa sa mga form na madali, no? Given sa atin ay sabi niya, wait lang, may tanong dito. Sabi ni Erwin Taoy, magagamit din po ba ang mapping, sir, to determine din ang mapping? Madidetermine ba yung mapping? Hindi ko gets. Pwedeng i-clarify? Siguro si Erwin, baka pwede mag-clarify. Sabi ni Erwin. Baka ang ibig sabihin niya ay yung relationship ng dalawa. Definitely. Yun yung function eh. Yun yung relationship ng dalawa. Kasi this assigns the relationship between the two. Sir, pwede po paki-explain paano naging function yung trigonometric functions or circular functions. Ito ay i-discuss nung trigonometric, yung susunod sa akin. Hindi ko alam kung i-discuss pero dapat nakasign sa kanila yung susunod sa akin. Pero anyway, sige, kung tinanong mo naman, ano lang naman din yun. Kung alam mo naman yung graph niya, kunwari, ano ba yung mga trigonometric functions na alam mo? Kunwari ay y is equal to sin x. Ano yan? Wave function. Kahana yan ng cosine. Y is equal to cosine x. Mapapansin nyo na once lang naman yan. O kahit padaanan ko, at most once lang. Ganon din ang cosine. Tangent, ganon din. So, kunwari, y is equal to tangent. Ayun. So, at most once lang yan. Ano pa? Secant x. Secant x. Ayun, secant. Ano pa? Cosecant. Yun. Cotangent. Graph niyo siya para masaya, di ba? Mag-explore kayo. Ano? Yeah. So, bakit daw naging function yung trigonometric function? Kasi, pag nagpadaan ako, sige, graphical ko na lang siya explain. Pag nagpadaan ako ng vertical line sa kanila, at most once lang. No? Nila dadaanan. Ano pa ba? Cosecant, secant. Kompleto na. Yung 6 trigonometric functions. No? Ano pa ba? Ln ng x naman ay madali lang. Kunwari, y is equal to ln ng x. Siyempre, function yan. Kasi, graphical ko na lang i-justify dahil sa vertical line test. Ano pa ba? E to the x. Y is equal to yung exponential. Y to the x. Yung e to the x ko. Ayan. Yeah. Ayun. Okay. May question pa ba from our audience na hindi ko nababasa? Anyway, okay na. Sige. So, let me just continue. Pero hindi ko makakover yun, yung mga trigonometric at saka exponential, logarithmic. Hindi ko na siya dinaanan. Pero pwede nyo siyang i-review, no? Basta function siya dahil kung gusto nyo i-justify nyo gamit yung vertical line test. Anyway, so yung quadratic equation ko, may form siya na a, ito yung isa sa mga form, ano? A times x minus h squared plus k. Ang advantage sa ganitong form ng itsura ng quadratic ay naka-explicit yung h at saka k. You can explicitly look for h at saka k. Ang domain ng kahit anong quadratic equation or quadratic function, ay R. So because of the idea of this quadratic function, ang itsura ng graph niyan either sa pataas or pababa. So ang range niyan either galing sa isang value na k, galing dun sa k na yon, k, tas pataas. So lahat ng values ng y na pwede sa kanya ay pataas. Pag naman pababa, yung parabola mo, ang tawag natin parabola, pwedeng galing sa baba, papunta naman sa isang certain value of your y. Okay? So in this case, malalaman mo kung opening upward or downward kapag yung a mo ay positive or negative. Tapos ang tawag natin sa axis of symmetry, kaya natin ang tawag ay axis of symmetry, para siyang line kung saan pag naglagay ka ng mirror sa gitna niya, exact copy siya ng kabila. Para siyang mirror copy ng isa. So kaya siya axis of symmetry. And ang tawag natin dun sa highest point, so syempre kung highest point siya, kung opening upward, at kung lowest point kapag opening downward, opening upward, ay vertex, no? Ang tawag natin sa kanya ay vertex. Doon dumadaan yung axis of symmetry ko. Okay, sa vertex. Ang tanong ko lang, kasi ito hindi ano, no, hindi to common sa atin, ano. Yung iba kasi diretso, no, yung ax squared plus bx plus c. So what if, paano mangyayari kung ang f ko is of the form ax squared plus bx plus c? Ano yung range? Ano yung axis of symmetry? At saka ano yung vertex niya? So kung ang given sa inyo ay hindi explicit, walang h at saka walang k, ang una niyong kuhanin lagi yung vertex. So if I have a form na here that is equal to yung f of x, tapos yung general form, ax squared plus bx plus c. Hindi 0 si a, hindi, and so on. So, ang vertex nito, so the vertex will lie at negative b over 2a. Kung ang form niya ay a, b, c ay itong form na ax squared plus bx plus c. Tapos, yung ano mo, nahanap mo na siya na x, di ba? Ay di substitute mo lang siya. So f mo will now become f of negative b over 2a. So substitute nyo lang. There are other books or references that have explicitly written yung f natin. So may iba na explicitly may c yan, makikita mo. Pero ako ang ginagawa ko, nahanap ko muna to, tapos diretso na sa f. Para hindi ko na-solve kasi ang nahihirapan ako ako rin personally nahihirapan ako mag-memorize ng mga forms. So hanap na lang ako ng way para mas madali. Tapos, syempre, ito yung h mo ngayon. So kung ikukumpara mo siya dito sa form na ito, ngayon, ito yung magiging h mo. Tapos this is your k. Ayun lang. So, papalitan mo lang ngayon yung h mo, magiging negative b over 2a. So, lahat ng mga h mo ngayon dito, negative b over 2a. Tapos, same rule pa rin naman, yung a mo. It still is it's being applied, no? Kapag ang a mo ngayon dito, same pa rin. Kung a mo dito ay positive, negative, ganun. Tapos yung k mo ngayon, ganun din. Still applies here. Okay? Yan lang. Kaya pag ang case niya ay yung general form, kunin niyo lang tong ng vertex niyo muna. Tapos through this vertex, malalaman niyo na kung ano yung axis of symmetry, ano yung range niya, tsaka with the use of your A, kung opening upward ba siya or opening downward. Ganon. Okay? Dadaanan lang natin to. I will not be dwelling so much here. Square root functions. So, meron tayong mga square root functions. Sa case natin, mag-dwell lang tayo sa linear at saka sa quadratic form ng P. So, kung ang domain nito will be the values of your x such that yung restriction. So, kung ang square root niya, dapat positive yung nandito. Sa mas general case ng square root function, nagkakaroon pa to ng a na multiplier dito, nagkakaroon din siya ng h plus k. Yung same case kanina. Nagkakaroon siya ng vertex. Kapag ang P pala ay linear. Tama ba? Ang graph nito, so kunwari ang P mo, pero mag-stick na lang tayo dito sa general case sa square root siya ng function P. So semi-parabola yan. Bakit may semi-parabola? Tama. So semi-parabola if P of x is linear. Kasi ito yung case kung saan yung nakuha kasi itong square root, ito yung case kung saan kinukuha mo yung branch nung, kunwari, opening to the right, kinukuha mo yung branch ng isa para maging function. Ganun din yung case ng isa. Kunwari kung sa taas, positive, kung sa baba, negative. Semi-parabola yung graph niyan. Semicircle naman kapag a squared minus x squared is equal, P is equal to a squared minus x squared. And that your a should be greater than 0. So find the domain and range of each function, then sketch each function's graph. So tingnan natin, let's do this by hand. Sobrang dali-dali niya i-graph, diba? Papasok ko lang yan. Yun yung sinasabi ko. You're not learning anything. Pag ganun. So kunwari, meron akong y is equal to, meron akong g. So g ko will now g of x is equal to square root ng x minus 3. Okay, so ano muna natin, i-internalize muna natin ng kaunti. So if you have here g of x is equal to square root ng 3, hanapin natin yung domain niya. Sabi natin dito, yung domain ng g mo, so yung domain ng g mo, kung paano man yung kinukuha yung notation niya, ay lahat ng values ng x's ko such that daw yung nasa loob ko, x minus 3 will be greater than or equal to 0. Kadalasan ng mga estudyante nalilito dun sa square root ng 0. Ano yung square root ng 0? What's the square root of 0? Di ba 0? So, hindi yan undefined. Ang square root ng 0 ay 0. Hindi undefined yan, ha? So, nalilito kasi dahil nakakita ng 0. Sa ln, yun, pwede. Na wala siyang 0. ln ng 0, wala. Non-existent. Pero sa square root, sa mga radicals, pwede yung 0, definitely. Ha? Kaya siya may equality dito. So, kung gusto niyo pa siyang i-simplify, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng x such that x should be greater than or equal to 3. Kung gusto niyo pa i-simplify. So, ibig sabihin, yung value mo ngayon ay meron kang pinakadulo. So, siya yung extreme value. Siya yung pinakadulo ng graph. So, kapag kinuha ko yung range niyan, so range ng g, i-analyze natin. So, kapag kinuha ko yung range niyan, kasi you're just trying, kung gusto mo ng interval notation, edi, sige. So, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng 3 to positive infinity. So, if you're trying to look for the range, edi, i-plug in mo yung lahat ng values ng x doon. Start with the endpoint. So, ano endpoint mo dito? 3. Pag pinasok mo doon, 0. Tama? So, this will be equal to 0. Kaso hindi mo alam kung galing sa baba, galing negative infinity to 0, 0 to positive infinity. You don't know. So, if you substitute, kunwari hindi 3, kunwari 4, magiging 1 siya. So, magiging positive values yung kukuhanin niya. So, ang magiging range mo ngayon, magiging galing ka ngayon sa 0 to positive infinity. Okay? If you're trying to look for the values of your x greater than or equal to 3. So, syempre, lahat ng values na lalabas dito will be 0 to positive infinity. At ang graph niyan, kapag in-graph mo yan, kunin mo lang yung endpoints ng interval mo. Ang endpoints sa interval mo, 0 at saka 3. So, that serves as your vertex. So, ang mangyayari niyan, kapag kinuha ko yung x mo at saka y, hamanap lang kayo ng other values pa para i-justify. So, ang vertex mo ay yung 3 at saka 0, hanap lang kayo ng iba pa. So, kunwari, mas madaling kuhanin yung square root ng, for example, square root ng 4. 4 minus 3 pala. So, magiging 1 to. Ano pa? Ano pa madali para maging perfect square to? Anong madali? Wait lang. 7? Tama, 7. So, kapag 7, anong itsura niya? 7 minus 3 is 4. Square root ng 4 ay 2. Okay. So, ang pag ginraph ko ito, no, manually natin. Pagpasensyahan niyo muna yung drawing ni sir. Naninibago pa rin ako sa ano. So, kunwari ito yung axis mo. Imagine nyo tuwid yan. Ang daya ni sir, no? So, if you have here, kunwari, 3, 4, 7. So, bilang ka lang. Kunwari, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kunwari, pantay-pantay. So, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tapos, meron tayong 0, 1, saka 2. So, 1 at saka 2. So, itsura niyan ngayon, may vertex ka dito sa 3. Tapos, may 4, 1 ako. So, meron ako dito isang point. Tapos 7 to andito yung something. Kapag tinrace mo yan, siya yung semi-parabola. Ayan. Medyo hindi ko pa kaya. So tingnan natin. Again, this is just to verify. This is not the way to solve the problem. I-graph ninyo. Nasaan ako? I-graph ninyo. Ano yung graph? Square root ng x. So g is equal to... So, y is equal to square root ng x minus 3. Minus, sorry. Minus 3. So, ang itsura mo ngayon, yun, tama yung nakuha natin. Sketch ng graph natin. Same analysis goes for this, no? Ang itsura naman ito, pag same analysis lang din. Hanapin nyo lang na greater than or equal to 0. Tapos, mahahanap mo na ito. Kapag ganito yung itsura niya, na a squared minus x squared, para yung semicircle. Ito yung sinasabi kong ginagawa natin ng paraan yung circle para maging function. So, ang gagawin natin, hahatiin natin siya. So, yung isang part lang yung kukuhanin natin or yung isang part lang yung kukuhanin natin. Pwede ganun. So, ang mangyayari sa kanya, pag ginraf ko yan, pag kinuha ko yung domain at saka yung range niyan, so kapag ginawa ko yun, magkakaroon ako for example ng h. So, ang h of x ko will be negative square root ng 9 minus x squared. Sundan nyo lang, ano? So, yung domain ng h mo, yun lang, same lang, will be 9 minus set of all x such that yung x mo, yung 9 minus x squared is greater than or equal to 0. And it is only satisfied whenever your x's is actually between negative 3. So, yung x mo will be negative 3 to 3. Kasi itong 3 kasi, itong 9 kasi na to, this serves as yung s squared mo. Okay? So, yung a mo represents yung radius ng circle, ng original circle. Kaya kapag tinignan mo siya, para siyang radius nung, kaya kinuha mo yung square root niya. So, you'll be having here minus 3 to negative 3 to 3. Kung interval notation, negative 3 to 3. Kung gusto nyo ng general case, dinaya na, domain yan ay, kapag ganito yung tsura yung a squared minus x squared, ang domain yan lagi ay negative a to a. Kung ano yung value ng a dito. Tapos, ang mangyayari naman, since vertex niya yung isa, di ba? So, radius niya, di ba? So, either makukuha mo yung maximum or minimum value niya. So, ang pwede mong kuhanin sa range nito, so, ang range ng h mo ngayon will be, kung negative 3 to, plus 3, ang highest possible value, kasi negative to eh. Negative yung nasa labas ng square root. So, ang lowest point niyan, manggagaling sa negative 3. Tapos papunta ngayon sa 0. At actually, madali siyang i-graph. Kasi semicircle eh. So, pag ginraph mo yan, lagay mo ng x, this is your y. Pag ni-sketch nyo yung graph niyan, mag-drawing lang kayo dito ng 3. This is negative 3. This is negative 3. This is 3. Wala naman siyang value sa taas kasi negative 3 to 0 lang eh. So, ang itsura niyan ay ito lang. Nasa baba. Yeah. Kasi yung x squared plus y squared equals 9 is a circle, diba? Relation siya. Pero pag kinuha mo yung square root niya, kukuhanin mo yung isang side o yung isang side. Yung nasa taas o yung nasa baba. Pag negative to, nasa baba. Pag positive yan, nasa taas. Okay? May questions ba sa ating mga malapit na tayong matapos actually. So, next is rational functions. From the word rational, rational. Dapat may functions ako ng P at saka Q. Such that, syempre, ang restriction ko sa kanya, hindi siya 0 yung denominator ko. So, what will happen is, magkakaroon siya ng vertical asymptote na tinatawag. Kailangan kasi kapag simplify mo na yun, a rational function is a ratio of two polynomials such that the degree of Q is at least 1. So, dapat ibig sabihin, merong variable sa baba after you simplify. So, ang mangyayari, the graph of the rational functions in its lowest term, so yung vertical asymptote. Ang vertical asymptote, pag sinabi mong vertical asymptote, vertical, nakatayo siya. Pag sinabi mong asymptote, palapit siya ng palapit, pero hindi sila magmi-meet. Okay? So, one of the saddest story of your math. Asymptotes are one of the saddest stories of your math. They will get close and close to each other, but they will never be together. Okay? So, yeah. Yun po. Hugot daw ba ako? Yes po. Hugot po. Hugot na hugot si sir. Ayan, mabubuhayan na naman po ang mga ating commenters, ano natin, students. Buhay na naman po. Ang daming hugot ni Sir Samat. Yes, of course. No? Saya-saya kaya. Ang dami-dami kayang pwedeng di ba? Napaka-interesting kaya. So, meron tayong vertical asymptote na x is equal to a. And then magkakaroon din siya ng horizontal asymptote. So, the horizontal asymptote is dependent from the word horizontal. The horizontal asymptote is dependent on your degree of your P and Q. So, kung ang degree ng n, so kunwari, ang degree ng p, ibig sabihin, pag sinabi mo degree, the highest exponent na present dun sa loob ng system mo. So, kung ang p ko ay n, tapos ang degree ng q ko ay m, pag daw mas mataas yung degree ng nasa taas kaysa dun sa nasa baba, ang horizontal asymptote niya is dapat y is equal to 0. Pag naman equal, kukunin mo yung coefficients ng leading, kukunin mo yung leading coefficients ng numerator over leading coefficient ng denominator. Saan hinahanap yung leading coefficient? Hanapin nyo yung highest degree kung saan yung exponent, yung coefficient niya that serves as the leading coefficient. Okay? Ngayon, kapag naman mas malaki yung denominator, mas maligtad ako. Am I doing something wrong? Wait lang. Ulit. Mali yung discussion kanina. Ulit. If n is less than m pala, sorry. Mas malaki yung degree ng denominator, m is for q eh. Okay. So pag mas malaki yung degree ng denominator kaysa sa numerator, yun, tama na. Magkakaroon ka ng y is equal to 0. Ngayon, kapag mas malaki naman yung degree ng numerator kaysa sa denominator, baka ang mangyayari, either wala siyang asymptote, kasi it leads to some graph na may hole, kasi nag-cancel ka eh. Or, pwedeng asymptote niya ay depending on the quotient when the numerator is divided by the denominator. So, yung magiging susunod yung asymptote niya ay dependent doon sa pag sinimplify mo pa. Kapag higher degrees na to usually. Usually, mga more than 2, more than 3, ganun. So, for the following functions, find the domain, the vertical asymptote, the horizontal asymptote, find the range, and sketch the graph. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So, kapag ganito yung case, kunwari, you have here f of x is equal to x plus 1 over x minus 2. Siyempre, the domain nito ng f ay aalisin mo yung mga values na hindi permissible. Kasi nga sabi natin, the domain, set siya ng mga values of your x that will satisfy or that will that is permissible dun sa function na meron ka. So, ang tanging bawal lang naman kapag rational, tapos yung excess mo ay magpapasiro sa saan? Papasiro sa denominator. Okay? So, magpapasiro sa denominator. Okay? So, you're removing all the values of your x that will make the denominator 0. So, ano magpapasiro dito? Alisin mo dun sa r. So, the r minus the set containing 2. Kapag range, so the range of your f ay mamaya natin tignan pag nag-graph natin. Sige, balikan natin yan. Mas madali natin explain mamaya. So, sabi dito, ang horizontal asymptote mo, so kunwari, ang vertical asymptote mo ay dependent doon sa denominator. So, ang denominator daw, yung magpapasiro sa denominator. Actually, kung ano yung inaalis mo doon sa denominator, sa numerator, sa value of your x, kapag ganito yung case, kapag simplest form ay rational, ang vertical asymptote niyan ay yung inaalis mo mismo. Pag horizontal asymptote naman, balikan mo yung rule. Sabi kanina, tingnan nyo yung degree. So, ang degree ay n at saka m. N is for the numerator, m is for the denominator. If your n here is dito sa case natin 1 at saka ang m mo yung sa denominator 1 din. So equal sila. So hanapin mo ngayon yung leading coefficient of the numerator and over the ano ba yan? Mali. Numerator over the denominator to. Oh my gosh. Sorry, this should be denominator. Kaya pala kayo naguguluhan. Should be denominator. So, ang mangyayari, magkakaroon ngayon ako ng y is equal to, anong leading coefficient dito? Sa numerator ko, 1. Sa baba, 1 din. So, this will now be equal to 1. Sorry, pakibago na lang ito ha. Anyway, bago ko naman ito ibigay, i-edit ko ulit para mas tama yung ibigay ko sa inyo. So, leading coefficient of the numerator over the denominator. Okay? And then, so, nahanap na natin yung horizontal asymptote, vertical asymptote. Ang gawin mo, humanap ka ng values ng x at saka y. From the left at saka from the right. So, i-graph nyo na agad yung just graph first yung gagraph ko. So, label nyo muna x at saka y. I-graph nyo na agad yung vertical at saka horizontal asymptote because that will serve as your guide. So, if this is 1, 2, so kung ito yung vertical asymptote mo, this is your x equals 2. And then, if horizontal asymptote mo ay 1, so bilang ka lang ng 1, i-graph nyo na agad siya. Okay? And then, hanap lang kayo ng values ng x from the left and from the right of your x. So, kunwari, pili ka dito ng, kunwari ay, dito 2, di ba? So, kunwari, 0 at saka 1. Tapos, sa right, pili ka sa right. So, kunwari, 3 at saka 4. Kasi, evaluate mo lang. So, mapapansin nyo, kapag 0, ang x mo, magkakaroon ka ng negative 1/2. Kapag 1, magkakaroon ka ng 2 sa taas, sa baba, magiging negative 1. Ano? So, magiging negative 2 ito. Pag 3 naman, magkakaroon ka ng 4 over 1. So, this will now be equal to 4. And then, if that is equal to 4, magkakaroon ka ng 5 over 2. Kaya ang itsura nitong graph ko, kapag kinuha ko yung 0, negative 2, so 0, x is 0, y is negative 1/2. So, nasa baba yung isa. And then, nasa taas yung 1, negative 2. So, x is 1. Kunwari, 1/2 to. This is negative 2. Sketch lang naman tayo, no? Magiging guide nyo ngayon yung horizontal asymptote at saka vertical asymptote. Okay? Dapat dapat papunta yung graph mo dun sa ano ha. The graph will approach yung asymptotes mo. Tapos dito makakahanap ka rin dun sa kabila. Usually pair naman yan. So magkakaroon ka ngayon dito dito sa kabila magiging 3, 1, 2, 3, tapos 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So ito yung isa. Tapos yung isa ay 4. Tapos 5 over 2 is approximately 2.5. So 1, ano saan ako? 4 to 2.5. So, nasa taas, nasa pagitan ng 2 at saka ng 3. So, ang itsura niyan ay may pair ka. Ayun. Okay? So, in that, makikita nyo ngayon na pair sila. So, may vertical, horizontal asymptote. Pag ginamit nyo yung graphing calculator ninyo, or graphing tool, hindi lumalabas definite. Hindi nyo makikita yung vertical. Pero makikita nyo na vertical at horizontal asymptote. Pero mapapansin niyo na sila ay nag-approach doon sa value na yun. Yung mga graphs nila. Okay? Ito, may isang case dito. Ang magiging graph nito kasi magka-cancel out to eh. Kunwari, x squared minus 4 is equal to x over x plus 2. Magka-cancel out. And whenever you're canceling values of your x, nagkakaroon ng whole. Kaya ang nangyayari, para tong line na may whole. Kasi kapag sinimplify mo to, that will give you x minus 2. Provided that your x should not be equal to negative 2. And since yung x minus 2 ko ay isang line, tapos hindi pwede yung negative 2, magkaka-whole siya. Yun yung itsura ng graph na number 2. Okay? Questions? Andito pa ba sila? Alright. Sige. Hindi ko na di-discuss to. Let's now go to the last item, no? This serves as a culmination to everything that you know about your function. Ano? So, pag sinabi mo conditional functions, from the word condition, the function, yung iba tawag dito piecewise function, ano, ang nangyayari lang sa kanya, the function will only take effect. So kung meron siyang, di ba, kunwari, F1, F2, kung ano man yung function na yan, kung ano may tsura niyan, the function will only take effect if the condition is satisfied. Okay? Kunwari, f of 2x, satisfied yan. So for example, if I have here f of x is equal to negative 5x, whenever x is negative 5, less than negative 5, x cubed plus 1 whenever negative 4, x less than or equal to 2, and 3 minus x squared whenever your x is greater than 2. So for example, i-evaluate mo yung value ng f. Ano yung function ang gagamitin mo dito? So for example, if x is equal to 4, if your x is equal to 4, saang interval siya mag-fall? So it will fall dito sa gitna. So ang function na gagamitin, mali pala. It will fall dito sa kasi x greater than 2. Sorry. This should be x greater than 2. So ang mangyayari so yun yung mga values ng x. So ang gagamitin mo ay yung 3 minus x squared. Dito tayo sa 0, gagamitin mo yung gitna. So whenever your x, gagamitin mo yung gitna. X is 0. Pag negative 8, gagamitin mo yung negative 5x. Pag negative 5, anong gagamitin mo? Wala. Kasi wala yun sa values ng x. Ayun, wala. Kasi ito sabi dito kapag daw x is less than negative 5. Ito naman, less than negative 4. So merong nawawala. Nawawala rin yung negative 4.5. Nawawala din yung negative 4. So yung function mo is undefined on those values. The function is not defined on those values kasi wala siya sa domain mo. So these conditions here will give you yung case kung saan it will give you yung domain mo. Yung union ng lahat ng intervals na yun, that will give you the domain of your conditional function. So if we determine the domain, the range, and sketch the graph, let me get some discuss natin. Ayos. Ano nga to? 3x plus 2 ba yan? Okay. Okay, so let's use this material here. So kunwari, ano na yun? Okay na yun. Oh, yeah. Domain, range, and then sketch the graph. So first item, 3x plus 2 whenever your x is not equal to 1. And 2 is if your x is equal to 1. Ano ang graph ng 3x plus 2? The graph of the 3x plus 2 is just your line. And the domain, sabi natin kanina, the domain is just the union of all the conditions. Yung nagsiserve as conditions mo. So that will give you now set of all real numbers. Okay? So whenever x is not equal to 1, nag-take effect yung y is equal to 3x plus 2. And if that is, if you identify the graph, that is a line. Okay? So by using your x values 0, y0, x-intercepts, and y-intercepts, you'll be having here x. Whenever x is 0, you'll have y is equal to 2, and whenever y is 0, yung x mo will be negative 2 over 3. So ang itsura ng graph niyan, pag ginraph ko, will be, ito yung 0, 2, ito yung negative 2 over 3, 0. So pag ginraph ko yan, ito yung itsura ng line. Pero take note, it only takes effect whenever your x is not equal to 1. So definitely, ang mangyayari dyan, magkakaroon ka ng hole doon sa point kung saan may 1. Kasi merong separate point doon. No? If x is equal to 1, then y is equal to 2. Okay? So if that's the case, ang magiging itsura niyan, meron kang hole ngayon doon sa 1, 5. And then, magkakaroon ka ng isang point doon sa 1, 2. So x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 2. So ang itsura ng graph ko ngayon will be this function here. Now, how do I identify the range? The range is, you can identify the range depende sa lahat ng dinamaanan na values ng y. Diba? So the range here will be R, the set of all things the set of all real minus yung hollow kasi hindi niya dinaanan yun, no? Walang graph na nagdumaan doon sa 5 kasi hollow point yun eh. So alisin mo ngayon yung r minus 5. So 5 alisin mo ngayon yung 5 doon sa set of all real numbers. That gives you the range of your function f. So how do we define? So syempre dapat alam niyo yung endpoints ng condition ninyo. Yung iba, ang ginagawa ko sa mga students ko, pinapadrawing ko ng mga imaginary lines. O dyan lang, hanggang dyan lang yung graph mo. Bawal lumampas dyan. Para makita mo ngayon na hanggang doon lang yung graph ng function mo. Kasi yun lang yung condition na sinasatisfy niya eh. Diba? Doon lang siya nag-take effect. So dapat hanggang doon lang. Tapos, sketch the graph of the equation in the conditions considering the endpoints as the boundary of the graph. Yun na nga. So parang boundary siya. Hanggang doon lang. Yung yung boundary niya, hanggang doon lang siya. Okay? Next. So if I have here g of x is equal to 1 minus x squared whenever x is less than 0 and 3x plus 1 whenever x is greater than 0, ang case niyan ay, ano yung graph ng 1 minus x squared? This is a, anong graph ng 1 minus x squared? This is a parabola. Opening downward. Pag 3x plus 1 naman, this is just a line. Okay? So tingnan natin, the domain is the union of all the conditions. So the conditions here is x less than 0 and x greater than 0. Ano nawawala sa kanya? Nawawala sa kanya yung equality. So ibig sabihin, alisin mo yung 0 sa kanya kasi hindi mo magagamit yun. Undefined ang function mo dun. The function is not defined that x is equal to 0. So therefore, you remove the value of your x equals 0. Now, let us try to graph. Whenever x is less than 0, sabi natin kanina, you'll have y is equal to 1 minus x squared. And that serves as your left-hand side of the equation. So, nandito siya sa left half of your Cartesian plane. Kaya ang itsura niyan, yung graph nito, yung 1 minus x squared, matatagpuan mo lang dun sa left. Wala dun sa right kasi less than 0 eh. So dapat, ang itsura ng graph ko, so whenever kasi 0 yan eh, x is equal to 0. So 0, pero may hollow siya. Tapos, kuha ka lang na isa pang point. Kasi alam mo, opening downward yan eh. So this is a parabola with the vertex 0, 1. Tapos, kuha ka lang ng isa pa. Kunwari, negative 1. You'll be having here 0. So, ang itsura niyan ay pababa. Take note, may boundary sila hanggang dun lang siya. Pag naman x greater than 0, nagte-take effect yung 3x plus 1, which is just a line. So if this is a line, ang value ng x whenever the value ng y whenever x is 0, you'll have y is equal to 1. So ang mangyayari, kadikit din siya nun, tapos kuha ka lang ng isa pang point. Beyond doon sa condition mo. So 0 to, so x greater than 0, so kunwari 1, magiging 4. So ngayon, makapag-connect mo yung line na ito. So this will now be equal to, anong itsura niya? This is now 0, 1, tas 1, 4, so line siya. And that gives you your graph of the function. Kasi remember, you are missing x is equal to 0, kaya dapat hollow talaga yan. Tama? And then, so how do we define the range? So we remove all the values of your y na hindi dinaanan. Tama? Alisin natin yung hindi dinaanan. So the set of all real numbers, ano yung hindi dinaanan dito? So kunin mo yung y value nitong point na to, yun yung hindi dinaanan ng graph mo. So whenever your x is 0. So ang itsura niyan ay r minus the set containing. Okay? So in that, with that, I will leave this last item. Maganda itsura nito. Promise. Try to solve this H. Just follow yung domain, range, how do you graph. Yung boundaries nila, tatandaan nyo, hanggang dun lang. Yung x plus 1, this is a line, this is also a line. This is a semicircle, yung square root ng 4 minus x squared. Maganda itsura nito, no number 3. Okay? So, do you have any questions? Kasi that will be the last part of my talk for today. Do you have any questions? May tanong ba dito sa ating live streaming? Parang related daw yun sa limit. Definitely, magiging related. Sabi ni Sir Adrian, maging related, yes. Posible siya maging related kasi conditional functions, diba? So, magiging related siya dun sa mga calculus part, no? Kanina nandito yung magtuturo ng calculus. Hindi nyo lang siya na-meet. Pero, exciting yung mga susunod na mga professors ninyo. Magtuturo ng geometry, trigonometry, and also, definitely yung last ay calculus. So, kung wala na kayong tanong, I guess that will be all for today. Thank you. Salamat sa oras ninyo.
Thank you, Sir Jacob. So, ang dami nating natutunan ngayong araw na ito, guys, no? Kahit na ako, naalala ko, sir, nung nag-Math 11 ako, that's college algebra, no? That was how many years ago? Grabe.
Mga 20 years ago ba yan?
Mga 20 years ago. Na-refresh ako, grabe. Actually, sir, meron pa tayong ditong question po from Junji Julian. Hello, sir. Ano po yung significance ng algebra sa real life? Wow, pang-miss you pala to.
Because of because of the unknowns, 'di ba? Yung backtracking, 'di ba, yung mga unknowns, kung meron kang known value pero function siya nung tapos 'di ba? Ang daming application niyan. Medyo hindi lang natin na realize kasi end user na tayo 'di ba? Pero the vehicles that we ride is andun lahat, forces around us, napakadaming variables you can represent as variables around you. So yeah, isa sa mga application yan ay significance ay yung pang-araw-araw niyong pamumuhay. For example, kunwari, meron akong 100 pesos, sabi ng inay, inay, bibili ako ng gano'n, 100 pesos ako. Anak, i-maximize mo yan. Ito na, lahat, ibili mo na yan. Siyempre, hindi naman agad sakto yun, di ba? May sukli yun. Di ba? Sa mga economics, araw-araw natin yung pamumuhay. Hindi lang kayo nakakita ng variable, pero kaya yung i-quantify as variable.
Thank you, sir. Sir, meron pa tayong Oo nga po At least dito po sa ating Facebook na madami po nagpapasalamat. Madami tayong mga students. I think these are senior high and college students po na nagpapasalamat. Meron po tayong comment from Vice Chancellor Janet H. Malata Silva. Ang husay ni Sir Jacob gumamit ng paint. Amazing. Thank you po, Ma'am Janet.
Salamat po.
At ang alam ko po, nanonood din po sa atin ang inyo pong ka-division, ng ating
Ma'am
BC
Jean.
Hi, Ma'am Jean. Thank you po sa support, Ma'am BC Jean and BC Janet. So yan, thank you po. Marami po nagpapasalamat. Ayun po, so Sir Jacob, you will be giving them a copy po of your presentation po. Sige po.
Bibigay ko na lang sa'yo, tapos I guess ikaw na lang mag-send. Okay.
Apa, Sir Jacob. We'll send them to the participants after this webinar series po. So thank you po sa ating mga nag-participate. Nakita natin, Sir Jacob, yung interaction ng mga students, no? Siyempre, may konting segue sa mga love life, pero overall, madami pong talagang nagsasagot ng ating mga problems. Kasi
sumasabay
talaga sila na na masagutan yung equation, yung functions, and all of that. So, wala nang habol ng ating mga questions. So, thank you very much daw, sir, kasi naging refresher daw po ito. Kasi marami na daw silang mga nalimutan or mga challenging na topics daw sa algebra. So,
pero
thank
iba
you.
magte-take ng let.
Meron daw po mga magte-take ng let dito, sir. Nakita ko sa mga comments kanina, no? Naging review ito sa kanila. So, yay. Maraming salamat po, Sir Jacob. Everyone, our speaker for session 1 sa Abracadabra, mag-Abracadabra kay Algebra, Assistant Professor Jcob Malaguit. So to Team LRC po would like to express our sincerest gratitude to our resource speaker this session. So to award the Certificate of Appreciation, may I call on the Zoom space our Officer in Charge and Incoming Director, Assistant Professor John Mervin L. Embate. Let me first read the citation of the certificate. So, Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Jcob C. Malaguit, for serving as resource speaker during the first session on Abracadabra kay Algebra, a review session for college algebra, in the MATH-dali lang ang math, a subject tutorial webinar series for algebra, trigonometry, geometry, and calculus, held today, November 29, 2021, at the Learning Resource Center, UPLB College Laguna, signed John Mervin L. Embate, OIC of LRC. Sir JM.
Sir Jacob, maraming salamat po. No?
Thank you
Sobrang
po.
naging fruitful ng ating programa ngayong umaga. Normally, ito ay para sa mga UPLB students, pero nag-reach out din tayo dun sa mga constituents natin na nakangailangan din ng public service natin. So ang dami ko nakita sa comment section na mga high school students, senior high school students, junior high school students, may mga teachers, no? Saka may mga college instructors then coming from different SUCs. So welcome po kayo sa UPLB family. Welcome din po kayo sa mga future programs ng LRC. At syempre Sir Jacob, sana masundan pa ito sa mga future programs ng LRC, no. Actually, habang pinapakinggan ko yung lecture, parang nare-refresh din ako. Although parang matagal na din since the last time na nag-college algebra ako. So parang na-realize ko na lifelong talaga yung learning, kasi kahit na medyo matagal ko na tinake yung Math 11, may mga naalala pa din ako. May mga naalala pa din ako. Of course, magaling yung Math 11 prof ko noon. Si Ma'am Bellarmino, unfortunately wala na siya ngayon, no? Pero ganun talaga yung mga professors natin sa UPLB, no? Talaga maaasahan natin sila at sila talaga yung magiging kasama natin sa paglalakbay natin para mas maintindihan natin yung ating ginagalawang mundo, no? Kasi ito nga yung naging usually questions, no? Ano nga ba yung gamit ng mathematics? Well, marami siyang gamit. And nakita ko din naman, no, na doon sa comment section natin, ginagamit ng mga students natin, ng mga learners natin, yung mga natutunan nila before, no, at itong exercise natin, it's a good platform for them to review or to recap what they have learned, at marami din silang mga nakuha ng mga panibagong information and skills because of your lecture today. So maraming salamat Sir Jacob. Sana ay masundan pa ito.
Thank you, Sir JM, and thank you again, Sir Jacob po. Okay, everyone, so for the evaluation of our session, the link to the evaluation form will be sent to the emails of all registered participants. So if you registered for our webinar series, the link to the evaluation form will be sent to your email, the email that you inputted in the Google form. So kindly answer the form to receive your e-certificate of attendance. So the deadline of responses will only be until 7 p.m. tonight. So this is to give us enough time for the system to reset for the following day. Okay po. So I believe the link is scheduled for sending by 12 noon. Okay. So everyone, I invite you to join us in our next session on Wednesday for our review session on analytic geometry. So this is on December 1, 2021, still at the same time, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. So together with Prof. Camwell Kindala III. So if hindi pa po kayo registered, please do so and share it as well with your friends who might be interested to attend. So let us take advantage of all these learning opportunities provided by the UPLB Learning Resource Center. So at this point, Team LRC would like to thank our MATH-dali 2021 team, headed by our Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Dr. Janet H. Maleta Silva, together with our LRC officer in charge and incoming director, Prof. J.M. Embate, our University Extension Associate, Ms. Cheryl Ed Hermosa Ebron. And thank you as well to our other two members, Tita Alan and Kuya Iwo. And to our team, our very supportive team from the Math Division of IMSP, Prof. Jcob, Prof. Camwell, Prof. Benpol, and Prof. Dylan. Maraming salamat po. So, to end, I would like to mention this quote from William Paul Thurston. So sabi niya dito ay, math is not just about numbers, equations, or computations or algorithm. It's all about understanding. Diba, Sir Jacob? It's all about understanding. So your math teachers, mentors, and kami po sa Team LRC will always be here to guide you and remind you to to just practice, practice, and practice. And always remember na math-dali lang ang math dahil kayo ay math tatapang at math tatalino. So together, we can achieve academic excellence. So thank you for joining us, dear students. I hope you learned a lot from our session. See you on the next one. Bye.